having a life scholarship and being able to afford to go to college made me feel inspired to go.
When I got a life scholarship, it was such a relief.
I knew that I wanted to have an impact. Having a life scholarship through the SC Education Lottery was huge. It gave me the opportunity to make that impact right here at home.
The South Carolina Education Lottery. A better you, a better us, a better South Carolina. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Ready to make a real impact every day? Join the Active Day Home Care team and help clients maintain their independence in the comfort of their own homes. Make a difference in someone's life as you provide essential daily assistance and protect their health and happiness. Earn up to $20 an hour and enjoy additional perks like optional daily pay, 401k, paid time off, ongoing educational training, and more. Join a team that values care, compassion, and your professional growth. Visit activeday.com to apply.
It's exactly
real.
like real life.
Yes. Happy Gilmore equals historical.
Name your price. Name your bet.
$300 for a blowjob. Oh, sorry. They don't know.
4 for half and half.
From fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, this is Pod Therapy. Real people, real problems, and real therapists. You can submit your questions anonymously at podtherapy.net or email us at podtherapyguys@gmail.com. And now, broadcasting from the churn for a couple more weeks. That's Jim. That's Whitney. I'm Nick. It's time for some Pod Therapy.
Yay! So, main show audience, we will not be here much longer at the fabulous churn in Las Vegas. So, change is in the air. And we are still sorting out the deets on that, but it may even result in us having some cool live shows, potentially broadcast on Twitch or YouTube.
Maybe from Topgolf.
And potentially just some video shows.
I want to do
Probably
that.
not.
I want to do that.
Maybe.
I want to do that tonight.
Yeah, fine.
Going to Topgolf.
I want to do this. Let's just put an end to this right now.
I don't know. Jim has his athletic Crocs on.
I'm down.
You don't want to mess with these bad boys.
I'm down.
These are my Father's Day Crocs. Pretty pumped about that.
You wore them on Father's Day, or you received them on Father's Day?
I received them on Father's Day.
As a gift?
Yes. They
Somebody hates you. Somebody hates you.
Yeah. I love my Crocs.
Somebody hates you and gave you Crocs as a gift.
Wow, those
I need
are
to put
fancy
in my
Crocs.
Thank you. Keep it in your pants, Whitney. Okay?
I can't help it.
I know.
The outline CROCS.
Yep, these are real ones.
Oh, I didn't know what outline on Jim you were looking at.
I thought it said something else.
Bulge in my Crocs.
Sounded so similar to something else.
So these are my first
has to
real
make like
Crocs.
knockoff Crocs.
Oh, 100.
Let me finish the sentence.
Oh, go on.
They're called cocks, right?
Thank you. That's what I was saying. It's like
penis-shaped ones.
No.
I mean, sure.
Okay.
But somebody has to have made that, right?
You're probably right. I feel like that exists already. But yes, I like my new Crocs. I got to put my giblets in them. I got all my little giblets from the Crocs store, so pretty pumped about that. You can listen in on maybe some of the last giblets.
Giblets.
Yes, I like that. Oh, I'm making progress on my 40x40 for those who are interested. I've also been watching Archer, just moving right along.
Okay.
It goes from I want to play a round of golf to counting Topgolf. I want to watch a celebrated...
Archer is a celebrated show.
Celebrated show.
I think Jacob said he'll give it to me. Jacob's also in a very generous mood with a lot of
I just want to get done with this fucking bit.
Yeah.
I'll turn
I just want to get done with this bit that I know isn't going to get done.
This is probably true.
I feel like Jim started it, so he's got to finish, and I refuse to let him not.
She'll be at my grave, and then the last thing is she'll throw the calendar over my grave in my 90s.
The calendar!
You fucking failed, you piece of shit.
I feel like Jim has done everything on that list that he is going to do.
Yes.
Shh, please don't say that.
I feel like it has already happened. I feel like it has already passed tense.
Patreon.com/therapy. We had some guests join us here in the churn completely by surprise. Pretty fun to say hello to some old friends and enjoy some snackaroos.
They told me they were coming. I just forgot to tell you guys.
Fair enough. We were also locked out of the churn for a while.
Surprise for 3/4 of us.
It has been a very eventful day.
No, I was definitely supposed to tell you. I just forgot to.
Pre-show announcements. Our buddy David Sorensen got married.
Congrats.
David Sorensen, author of many a jingle, including I think Jim's Tales of Woe and Jim Learned a Thing.
Can you make a jingle for the show?
Yes. No. We'll
sure
never
can.
replace that banjo.
But you've done so much already.
We're
appreciative.
Another announcement, Manu and Jim updated jimsneuroticbingo.com.
Yay.
So if you'd like to listen to the show and play a game as you listen and mark off your own bingo card, Check it out. It's also in your episode description. It's always been linked there.
I'm
going to
play
show.
right now.
So
Oh
they
my
have
gosh,
updated with a
yes.
whole bunch of more current references since the last time it had been updated was like 5 years ago. So exciting things happening in the world.
I'm just trying to decide if it's fair for Nick to even play Jim's
Yeah, I know.
neurotic.
He
I feel
can
like
rig
he's
the
gonna,
game.
I feel like he's going to trigger things.
Yeah, absolutely.
You
And they're
can
not
be
all
baiting.
me phrases. Like you're in there too. Like there's lots of things. I think we even have some Whitney ones.
Let
now,
me go
so.
see.
Yep, check
I'm
it
gonna
out.
go too.
I feel like I can click midlife crisis.
Yeah.
We did talk about Spirit Airlines.
Yeah, that's in there. That was Whitney. I didn't even bring it
Wait,
up.
he said a weird word. What was it?
I don't say
Was it
weird
tour?
words. Whitney.
Tour.
Oh, come
Is
the
that
fuck
on there?
That's how you say it. Anyway, we've got some great questions for today's show, and we're leading off the order with staying motivated to love myself. Hi, Pod Therapy. I was an anonymous writer in 2023, episode 293, and you answered my question about my wife losing physical attraction to me. Very short summary, I gained a lot of weight and my wife shared some hurtful realities about her feelings toward me. Despite your words and insightful advice, I spiraled for a couple of months before I went back and listened again. Nothing about the advice changed, but I picked up one new thing. One of you said offhandedly, "I'm glad to hear you're in therapy." The problem was, I wasn't in therapy.
Oh, I'm going to go back and listen to this. I got to hear who it was. Go
that
on.
simple statement pushed me to consider that I probably should be in therapy.
All right, fair. Fine.
Winning! So, starting in
I'm
January...
going to take credit.
Yeah, I think it was
helpful,
probably...
still
You just
helpful.
call it Jacob. Give him a point for that one.
Yeah.
So starting in January 2024, I found a therapist and went for the first time.
Good.
It took me a long time to work through everything I had going on, but I eventually accepted that I was depressed and probably had been for a long time. We worked through a lot of feelings and post-traumatic events. Finally, we worked on accepting that I was enough just the way I am. This last one is where I wanted to ask a follow-up question to all of you. The past 3 or 4 months, I started exercising and eating healthier. I've lost 30 pounds.
Wow.
I'm nowhere close to my goal weight, and like Nick always warns when he's talking about weight loss, it's slow. I really don't look that different, even though I do feel good. I'm doing it for me, but it turns out that taking care of your mental health and making an effort are attractive to your partner. So for those that care, I'm still together with my wife of almost 20 years. She's supportive of me, and things are much better since I got a hold of my own feelings, and I'm better able to share those. So here's my problem. If I'm enough, why am I working so hard to change? Yeah, my therapist says that loving yourself is taking care of yourself. Something in my head, though, can't get past the fact that things are better because I'm changing, but that means I'm not enough, right? Every day I have to get up and tell myself positive things to keep the depression at bay, but then also find motivation to continue working on myself. I guess I lived so long thinking that only negative feelings like fear and shame could motivate change that I'm having trouble making the mental leap to the positive. Any advice to push past this conflict in my head? Really can't thank you all enough. You've made a huge difference in my life. Listening again to that episode, you all told me everything that I would eventually hear from my therapist. I just couldn't accept it at the time. If I had, I could have saved a lot of money. A Patreon subscription is nothing compared to a year plus of therapy. You've got a subscriber for as long as you keep doing the podcast. Thank you, Anonymous.
Can we have a Patreon level for claiming that we are your therapist?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Like at this level, you could just say,
yes,
these are my therapists.
Yeah.
There may be some ethical things that we'll have to work
You're
around.
overthinking
because
it.
they
Jacob's
get to
right.
say it.
Yeah,
They get to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Hilarious.
we're selling it.
Yep. We're acknowledging it.
This
We're
is like
agreeing
whenever
with
you
it.
agree to let somebody tell somebody that you're their boyfriend. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, I'll give you $20, shut up, walk with me.
Which we do have a Patreon for.
Yeah, there's a number for that. Absolutely. There's never been a
I'll be your
buyer, but it's
boyfriend.
there. It's always been there.
I'll be your boyfriend.
Yeah. You can
fine.
always say I'm a boyfriend.
That's right. It's fine. Nick will be
perfectly
your
fine.
boyfriend. There's a number. And boyfriend for the night. There's a number.
Yeah.
Okay. But I think absolutely there should be a number where you get to tell
I just
people.
clicked off a couple of Jim's neurotic bingo squares.
Oh, good. Oh, good. That's lovely.
Nice.
What were they?
Oh, what is the Patreon level at which something can get outlandish?
Okay. They thought of everything. Yeah, I like this. But yes, I love your idea for that Patreon point. That is a really good idea. But no, this is a really good question. I like this one a lot, where the writer's kind of talking about the catch-22 of, okay, I went through a spell where I was depressed. I hated myself. I was going through a lot of body image stuff. I made a huge change in my life mentally by accepting myself for who I am and being positive toward myself. But I am currently trying to change myself. How do I balance those two things simultaneously? I'm good enough and I want to change.
So are those two ideas in conflict?
Okay.
Basically is the question.
I think
Right.
they're saying, what's the deal with that?
Am I enough, but I'm working on myself? Are these two contradictory?
Yeah.
I don't think they are.
Okay.
I'm having trouble being able to verbalize it.
It's because you're drunk, Tangeman.
Yeah.
I have a good
'Cause you use
analogy,
mouthwash,
and I
Madison. I
feel
told you not
very,
to.
I feel very proud because Nick, I feel like, is the analogy guy, and I'm always trying to remember
Are you
them,
gonna
and I
bring up
never
golf?
can.
'Cause
It's
that's
not
the
golf.
only analogy he can do.
I know it's not golf.
one
Can you be
trick.
enough in golf and still be working on yourself, Nick?
Oh, you just ended the show, Whitney.
All right,
he
no,
can't
all right.
handle that
Sit with
question.
that.
This is a lot. Okay, let's listen. Okay, let's deal with the writer, and then we're going to come back to that for me.
Yeah, Jesus.
'Cause that's
Well, what's the Patreon for therapizing Nick?
Nick just pulls out his journal and just starts furiously writing. I have to think about this.
in our next studio. Can we have a couch that we lay down?
Oh,
on?
that's a great idea.
I think we need a couch.
Everybody's just
At least the
laying-
love seat.
yeah.
That's a perfect
I'll kick my feet up on a love seat. I can do that.
Or maybe one of those like 0G reclining chairs.
Yeah,
Hold on.
yeah, that'd be fine.
Can
too.
it be a blow-up couch like in the 90s?
Oh my god, I
Yes.
slept on one of those once.
Oh, or just
Did you
love
wake up
sex.
sticky? Never
Oh,
mind.
I had an inflatable mattress that I slept on for like
wake
a
up
year and a
that way
half one
every
time.
Okay, no, I thought of an analogy for this. I was very proud of myself. I want to hear your thoughts, and you can
Okay.
just shoot me down. It's fine.
I intend to.
I know you do, so it's all right. All right, so my thoughts were, what is another situation where something is enough, but like you should still keep working on it? And
Oh, it's so stupid.
Yeah, what a dumb
question.
idea. Jesus Christ.
I didn't even get
This is
there
like
yet.
naming
This
your
is
cat
like-
Khaleesi.
Who would do that?
Cat Lacey.
I feel like I need to change her name to
I
Cat
do too.
Lacey now.
I definitely feel like you need to change
Can
your
we
name.
name your cat? Can we put that on the Patreon?
No, our next animal I'm totally letting y'all name because I was really impressed with all the outrageous names given
Very, very
for Emma's horse.
Sadly, none of them are children.
No, I feel like I need an Instagram for Cat Lacey now. All right, side note. So my analogy is
New business idea. Yeah.
my analogy is a car. All right? You have a car. It needs oil.
Okay.
Your car is leaking oil. It's low on oil. If your car is low on oil, it still drives. All right? Still gets you from point A to point B.
Okay.
But you're risking it. You know, maybe it's like not good for your engine. I don't really know cars that well, so I don't know the consequences of
Keep
having
going.
low
You're
oil.
doing great.
But like if it's full, like you top up the oil, then it's running like a dream. Like there could be more
Slather it
oil
in
there.
oil.
But
Yeah.
like it's got enough. It's
Grease it
got
up.
enough
Get it real
oil
greasy.
to get you around, but like it needs more oil.
It's just, it gets you around because it's so oily. It just slides.
sliding right across the road.
No, this is a perfect analogy.
Yay!
It is.
Thanks,
I love
Nick.
it. I
That's all I
absolutely love it.
needed, the analogy guy to say this.
I wish this show
No,
had a
because it's-
video because just Jacob and I are fucking pissing ourselves.
Just
All right, the video isn't for y'all.
put some oil in the car and
Get it all lathered up.
oil.
Get a
Very
real top it
oily in
off.
here.
Whitney, say oil one more time.
Oil. No, but this
Put that
is
oil in the car.
Gotta get that
oil in
oil
the
over
car.
your windshield just really fast.
a great analogy though, because like something can be enough, but you have to maintain it for it
Gotta
to
maintain-
continue to
That's
be
a really
enough.
good point, Nick.
Got my analogy
I like
guy
that.
on
Shut up,
this.
Whitney. Yours was terrible. Nick, I like that. That was kind of like a car.
I did
you
just
guys.
say what she said.
No.
But it did sound
you know
better.
what?
said it
That's-
25% better.
That's the story of my life. Okay, I need a side note here because Peter.
This is why we have a woman on the show.
Yes.
So that she can come up with the example.
we can take credit.
And then we can also
I love it.
No.
This is exactly what we were to do.
It is a running joke now where Peter will say something that I've like said out loud or whispered to him, and then he says, everyone's like, "Oh, Peter, great job." I'm like,
genius.
I just said that 5 seconds.
Too bad there's no witnesses.
Yeah. Anyway, go.
At
on.
least he cannot tell. Tells no tales.
Could I try an analogy as well?
Oh, yeah, go ahead, Jake.
I would like to try an
We're
analogy.
gonna
I'd love
vote
to hear
whose
what your
is
thoughts are on
better.
the matter.
Shelter.
Oh.
If you have, you need shelter to live.
Okay.
So if you have, a small little studio apartment or a little rundown spot, but it's safe, it's warm, it's cool, whatever you need in the weather where you are, you've got shelter.
Yes.
You have achieved livability. You can now claim
survive.
shelter. Yes.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
you might want it to be a little more comfortable. So you put in some like some new
That's
carpet.
trash. Nope.
You put in like some new
Boo.
furniture.
Okay.
Crap.
Yeah,
Crap.
yeah.
Maybe
So-
some oil?
Okay,
Do you think
I
you
got
get
an
some oil in
analogy.
there?
There's
I
not
got an
enough oil
analogy.
in that
Oh,
analogy.
okay, Nick, let's hear
Okay.
it.
Ice skates.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, they're
yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But you got to keep sharpening them.
Unless the
Right.
rentals
To keep
suck,
sharpening
but
them.
they'll
Yeah.
keep you
Okay.
up on
You got
the
to
ice.
you sharpen them.
All right,
Let's
I like
keep
that.
coming up with other analogies that are
Yeah.
exactly the same
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
as she
yeah,
said,
yeah.
but just another.
Yeah. Better.
That's just a different-
just better analogies.
So, like, if you're in the water,
Yeah.
and you're just walking, on the bottom down there,
Yeah.
you can push yourself along,
Right.
But you could move along more efficiently.
You could.
by swimming.
Or some oil.
Yeah, or-
you could
or
top
really
off the
grease
oil,
it up.
and
The
then you
oil
just
will float on the
fly
top.
because the oil don't mix with the
It won't
water.
mix.
So
It
you'll
won't
just
mix.
float. You'll just
That's right.
slide across the
Fuck
water,
you.
just coast
Fuck
to
you.
coast.
I agreed. I thought it was wonderful. I give you full points.
All right. So I actually do have a real, not analogy, but a comment on this. I think the analogies have all been used up, so I'll let those go.
Doubt it.
But no, writer, like this idea that yes, I think you are sufficient, but we have to use like the right concept here. You are a human. Humans grow. Humans change over time. Humans are not static beings, right? So like if you had a child, you look at your child and think, oh my gosh, like this child is enough. Like I accept this child for who they are. I love them exactly as they are. But part of who they are is their potential and their growth, right? Part of their normal
Sounds like a new
health.
analogy.
Right. Part
Somebody
of their
said we're
normal
getting
health
away from
is them.
analogies.
I mean, okay, so you cover the kid in oil.
Yeah, but this is such a good one.
Yeah. Part of their normal growth is them, or they're like part of your acceptance of them is your acceptance of the responsibility to develop them. So I think you look at yourself in the same way. There's a sense that I am sufficient, I am enough, but also I have sufficient resources within me to continue my journey. And I think that's really the piece that we're trying to work on. It's not so much, it's about getting you to not look at your deficiencies and inadequacies because you're historically getting those wrong sized in your mind. You tend to focus on those so much they obscure the accuracy with which you self-assess. That is something that happens in CBT. We call that a cognitive distortion. Has a lot of different names to it. Some people call it, I think, the ink blot or like a, God, what's that? There's, it's the, ink something. How one drop of ink discolors the entire beaker of water. I don't remember what. Fuck, I forgot my kid.
Keep floating, Jim. Keep
We said we were done
going.
with analogies.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry.
So
we
we're
shouldn't
done.
quote CBT either.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Good
I
luck.
believe I said
Still
that
an
I doubted
analogy.
that we were done.
Yeah.
I believe
All right,
I was
on the
correct.
record, you're right.
Anyway, we call it disqualifying the positive. That's
Yeah,
another
yeah.
one.
There you
Mental filter. That was the one.
Oh, okay.
And so both of those are
How do you
what
keep
you
the
are
ink out of the
doing
water,
there.
though?
Right. So
Well, you don't want to have
oil.
an octopus
No, that's going to be
helps.
really
because
bad.
they're going to ink it up.
They
you
will.
basically
Especially if you
have
scare
a
'em.
personality octopus that you've been obsessing over. No, but like, writer, that's the problem here is that historically what you've been doing is cognitively distorting your own value by focusing only on the negatives and disqualifying the positives. So it is good emotional mental health yoga for you to constantly re-stretch that new muscle of forcing yourself to see the positives. That's not necessarily to end the conversation about growth. It's not designed to adjudicate your value. It's designed because you always tend to go the other way and notice the negatives. So forcing yourself to dwell upon the positives and be mindful is you learning how to calibrate your sense of proportion. That doesn't mean that you become completely ignorant of anything in your life that needs to be adjusted, right? I mean, we've worked in rehabs, and in rehabs, we're working simultaneously on you need to love yourself and stop fucking doing drugs, right? And both things are actually very connected. Part of how you're going to love yourself is stop doing drugs. So I think that that's part of this story for
Any
you
addiction.
too, writer, is breaking through this idea of like insufficiency by focusing on what's excellent about you and what's good, while also continuing to do the work of growth because that's what you are designed to do.
Now, I do want to make another important point here, which is that you were talking about, I'm told I need to love myself and I've made good progress with that, but I'm also here trying to change.
Yeah.
I'm going to the gym, I'm doing all these things, I'm eating healthy, all of that. I do want to point out here that by doing those things, you aren't changing who you are. Okay. So like if anybody begins this exercise or weight loss journey where you're exercising, you're changing the way you eat, you're changing your body and how it looks or how it functions, which I think is even more important than how it looks is how it's functioning. You're not changing who you are. You're not changing your identity. So it isn't that you're saying like, well, I'm not enough or I will be enough. Because none of that changes. It's really just about maintenance. And the way that and again, like go back to Whitney's analogy, because I use similar when we talk about
Pennzoil.
When we talk about exercise, and I've even brought it up here on the show many times, the philosophy that I look at when it comes to exercise and eating healthy is it's like maintaining a race car. If you've got a race car,
put oil in it.
Well, not only oil, but like the right kind of oil, right? If you're putting gasoline, the right kind of gasoline.
Synthetic oil.
I recently on the way back.
Whitney knows so much about cars.
Whitney's, I know. I didn't
I just
realize.
bought some oil for some cars.
We finally
that's what
fulfilled
I'm
the destiny of becoming Car Talk.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of us.
I on the way back from Iowa, I watched on the plane Ford versus Ferrari.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen that yet?
Oh yeah, it's great.
Oh, that is an amazing.
I've seen the
movie.
trailer. Yes.
Never heard of
Pretty
it.
much seen the movie.
Well, they had the car in the trailer.
Oh, that's good.
That's how they carry it.
So good, so good.
Hopefully that's
But anyway, like
analogy,
they're racing the 24 hours of Le Mans, right? And that car's got it's got to last 24 hours.
Okay.
Right?
How?
But you have to push it to its absolute limit.
Yeah.
Like a perfect race car.
But it can be enough if it's low on oil.
A perfect race car is the car that
With
blows
oil.
up as soon as it passes the finish line.
Right.
Because it means it's got nothing left.
Right.
You've used everything, but it made it to the finish line and then it's done.
Yeah.
Right. And so like if your body, your human body, we need to get it to perform and operate at its most efficient. And that does mean that we have to put the right fuel in it.
Yeah.
That means we do have to exercise it. We have to kind of push it to its limit on a regular basis in order to get the most out of it.
I like
so
that.
None of that changes your identity. None of it changes who you are. It's really
The car's
just
still the car. Those are just enhancements.
exactly.
Yeah. No, I really like all these analogies. And one other thing, writer, that you said that I really appreciate. I mean, we're super glad to hear that you're plugging therapy and saying, hey, I went and that actually changed the game for me. I think that's huge. Another thing that the writer said that I just think is important to shine a light on, even though it's not kind of the main point of this question, the writer references the old question, which said, hey, my spouse came to me and said they're no longer attracted to me. And I remember that question.
I remember that one too.
I do
Yeah,
too.
it was not mean-spirited. It was
Yeah.
like, this sad thing has happened to me. And
Like,
I'm
what do
trying
I
to sort
do with this
out.
info?
But I appreciate where the writer kind of said, look, I started going to therapy. I started working on my mind first. And it turns out that just putting in effort on myself and changing my thinking and it turns out I was depressed. I became more attractive.
That was so fucking valid.
Working
God.
on yourself is really sexy.
It's really sexy. And it reminded me of a stat, and I just double checked it to make sure I got it right. There was a survey done on dating apps. 92% of respondents said if they find out the person goes to therapy, it is more attractive. It is a green flag to hear that. And I love this question too, because
Now I know what to lie about on my dating
right?
apps.
That's right.
Well, you could, for a fee, you can say we're your therapist. We'll vouch for you on the dating apps.
Yeah.
Okay, you can say, "Oh, my therapist said I'm good with dating."
I
And
feel like $10 a month. I feel like you're at $10 a month.
Yeah.
Then you can
You
just
can
say
list
per
it.
host.
yeah. If you want all four of us, it's $40.
It's group therapy. It's reverse group
50 will
therapy.
write a letter of recommendation.
Oh, easy. Yeah, I have so much Nick Tangeman
for the
letterhead.
job of our choice.
That's right. You don't get to pick. You don't get to pick what it's for. That's right. I think this person will be an excellent dog catcher.
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly. Yeah. So I really appreciate that, writer, because like in your story, it could have been, I mean, you said like, hey, I've lost 30 pounds. I'm really proud of that. But you said like, look, I physically don't really look much different, and I respect that. But I appreciate that you said, I am different though. I am behaving different. I am thinking different since I've started attending to my mental health. And that is showing up in my marriage. And I really think that's cool to hear.
Can I add one more thing? Because, writer, I want to give you credit because you are already doing the thing that I try to get all of my personal training clients to do. You're already doing it, which is that you have to look for the changes that are occurring.
Yeah.
Because changes occur very, very slowly. It is a slow, as you mentioned in the letter, it is a slow process to get out of this. And a lot of times, if you are working and you're not seeing results, you quit.
It's so hard.
Everybody does that. But the thing is results are occurring, but they're just not obvious.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, you lost 30 pounds,
30 pounds.
and you don't really see it, right?
Yeah.
But you feel it.
You do.
You know, and that's important. And so you need to remind yourself of that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you need to remind yourself too, like, oh, you know, I'm noticing these positive changes in my relationship.
Right.
I'm noticing that I'm feeling a little bit better. Even small things like, you know, when I go up the stairs at work, I don't get winded.
Right.
You know, like really search out all of those small things, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to develop and harvest this internal motivation.
I love that point. One thing I did, so after I'd lost I'd lost 60 total, and then I kind of regressed and I got down to 50. So I've kept 50 off. But like at some point I was feeling like discouraged, and I was like, man, you know, yes, the clothes are different. Yes, there's a change, but like, you know, I'm unsatisfied. I haven't gotten where I want to get to yet. My goal is still to get to 175 and get to my BMI. So I still have about 20 pounds to drop. And sometimes that can be really discouraging, because that 50 pounds, as hard as it was, this next 20 is very difficult.
Yeah.
Like it's just a very different situation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But one day I was at the gym, which I sometimes go to, but not often.
Right.
And while I was there, I thought, I'm going to go pick up a 50-pound weight and just walk around the gym with it for a second to remember what it was like, and just see what will that be like. And man, that was very important for me to do. And just walking around and being like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
This came off of my body.
Yeah. Walk up some stairs with it.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And so like that 30 pounds, like you might visually be like, I don't really see it. Like, or I have a lot of work to do. I'm unsatisfied. But I like what you said, Nick, which is like, you've got to force yourself to find clever ways to see the progress. And for me, that was a clever way for me to hold that progress in my hands.
Yeah. If you think about it, like even if you dropped that weight 50 pounds in one day, you'd be addicted.
Like on the moon.
No, I mean, like,
jump.
You would literally be addicted to exercise.
Right.
That feeling that you would have.
Yeah.
Feeling it all at once.
Yeah,
It would
right.
be one of the greatest highs ever.
Yeah.
Right. But because it happens so slowly, this is why I always say, like, you know, there could theoretically, for all I know, there could be a drug out there that gets you high 2 months after you take it.
Right.
But no one's ever going to abuse it.
Right.
Right. No, we would never know.
Right.
Because no one's. It's all about immediacy.
Yeah.
Like the quicker you get the effect, the more addictive it is.
Well, and to extend your point too, this is also why working on yourself in any capacity, physical or mental, is hard, or why so many people struggle with depression, and it's hard for them to take that medicine every day. And we tell them it's going to take 2 to 3 weeks before the depression starts to wane. And they're like, the fuck is this? You know, trying to take a pill every day for 2 or 3 weeks and then wait and see if that was the right dose and keep working on this. Go to therapy every week and talk about my life. And still, like, sometimes people will say, I feel like I show up in therapy every week and I just continue to tell you I'm depressed. And you say, great, I'll see you again next week. And they're like, fuck this.
Yeah.
You know, but it is this slow trickling process where like this erosion is happening. And then eventually things change. But you're right, it doesn't happen all at once, which is why stories like this about persistence and revisiting something. Sometimes, and this goes back to addictions work, stages of change. Sometimes you're presented with a reality.
I thought about stages of change.
You're not ready.
For this.
You're just not ready for the change yet.
Yeah.
And then as the writer did, eventually you come back and you revisit the exact same thing that you were once presented with. Nothing has changed except you and your readiness to now follow that advice. And that's why sometimes people say, I've already tried therapy. Nothing got better. I'll never go back. And that's exactly wrong. Like, no, go back. Earlier you wasn't ready. Now you go back.
I have there's somebody in my life, distantly related, that I've kind of had this conversation with. I haven't had this conversation, but I've had this thought. I've not worked up
I've
the
been
courage
meaning
to
to tell
say
him.
it.
Nice ass.
No, but like, I will say that. I have no problem saying
Distantly
That's
related.
easy.
that. No, but like this individual had gone to therapy, tried it one, and this person needs to be in therapy, and went one time, did not have a good experience, and then has not gone back. And was like, well, I tried that, and I'm never going to do it again.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to like say, you ever gotten a haircut?
Yeah.
And did they ever
Fuck
kind
it
of
up.
fuck it up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that the last haircut you ever got?
Right.
Well, you didn't go back to the
Yeah.
same haircut person.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So try a different person.
haircut
you know,
person.
Go
You're gonna
someplace
go
else.
get another haircut.
But you know, you're not gonna. It's not a one and done thing.
Wow, good analogy, Nick.
You ever fuck up your car?
Hey, thanks, Whitney.
By putting a whole quart of oil in the gas tank. All right. Was that the last time?
Pouring a quart of oil over the roof.
Wow, I'm proud of my one analogy.
We are too. This is what support looks like.
Okay, great.
You're just not used to it.
No, that's fair.
Let's
That's
gaslight her.
toxic.
Let's gaslight her.
fine.
It's because you're not used to masculine affection.
This is the
That's
one
what it looks like.
We're just gonna pinch and poke you and push you off the playground. Fine.
We're pitching a no-hitter, boys.
You're
We're
accepted.
doing real good.
You're accepted.
Jeez, calm down, Whitney. You're doing great.
Thanks, guys. So one of the things I wanted to mention was sometimes motivation looks different for every person. Some clients I work with, I think of one in particular, they would tell me if something's on my calendar, I'll do it. It's almost like I think that's very few people. I don't think that's majority.
Well, you put a bunch of shit on my calendar, and I haven't done any of it. So
Exactly.
Oh, no, that's me.
Yeah, so
that
I'm
is Jacob.
very calendar based.
Okay.
My life revolves around
He's a
my calendar.
It's so interesting. I don't think
Follows
very
the
many
calendar.
people are that way, but this one person, they were like, oh, I don't really want to do this or that, or it's hard for me, especially in a very depressed state, you know, when you aren't motivated to do anything, how do you do the things, you know, that are helpful or you quote should do?
Yeah.
And in my mind, for this one person, they were like, you know what? I need to work on this hobby that I really enjoy. I don't want to, but you know what? If I tell myself every Thursday at 6:30 to 7 p.m. it's on there, I do it.
Yep.
And I was like, okay. So I feel like
I wanted to come in today. I wanted to come to the turn today and get some stuff and move some stuff out and pack up stuff that we're not using it anymore. And I didn't feel like it.
Yeah.
Because I was out last night. I went to a concert last night and we were out and all that stuff. And so I woke up. I was like, I don't feel like going in. And then an hour later, I had some lunch and looked at my phone. I was like, what do I have on my calendar today? Oh, go pack up the churn. All right. Guess I'm going to the churn.
Get up and go.
Yep.
He obeys
Yes,
it.
very calendar based. And so I say that to say sometimes when we take out quote motivation or that internal motivation, what kind of keeps somebody going to the gym or sticking with some new habit or skill they're trying to improve upon? And especially when we're in a state of depression, we have zero desire, or damn near zero desire to do something. So some people, it might be something as simple as adding it to your calendar and holding yourself to that. Sometimes for me, it's changing that mindset of that mental narrative from I'm a lazy piece of shit to, you know what, I'm a person that goes to the gym. I go to the gym 4 days a week. Is this one of those days? And now all of a sudden there's a little brain shift that happens there. It's small in the beginning, but it's I'm a person that goes to the gym
That's
4
who I
days a
am.
week, and now I'm doing it. I don't know.
I used to do the same thing working with people with smoking cessation.
Yep.
Just
I remember this.
I'm a non-smoker.
I'm a non-smoker. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
and then you
okay.
just kind of continue. I'm a
That's
non-smoker.
right.
I don't smoke.
Yep.
I'm a non-smoker,
Yep.
and you just you make it part of your identity as
Yes.
opposed to a choice. If you leave it as a choice, you're going to choose no, right? Or you're going to choose whatever's
easiest at the
path
time.
of least
Right.
resistance.
Just fake it till you make it on the bingo card.
Oh.
It's not on mine.
No, it's not on mine either.
I've got 5 boxes checked already.
Wow.
Oh, me too.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
No, I've got 5.
It's a competitive game.
Yeah.
Wow. That's very exciting.
How do y'all download this card?
It's jimsneuroticbingo.com.
.com.
Okay,
We need a
on
jingle
it.
for that.
Yeah.
But no, Whitney, I love that point. And I like your general analysis there of no, sometimes you do have to fake it. Sometimes you have to place that thought over yourself or create some kind of routine and then just follow the orders, especially when you're in depression, as you were saying, because with depression, you cannot trust your own brain.
Well,
So you just have to do what you're fucking told.
So these thoughts, do you feel like they just kind of pop in? Like they're kind of, what's the word for that?
Yeah, popcorn. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Intrusive?
Oh, like a cherry. Yeah.
Oh, what was that, Jacob?
Intrusive?
Intrusive?
Yes!
thoughts? Got it!
Bingo!
I don't have it yet,
Okay.
but I needed that.
I feel like
Right.
we really missed out on dad advice for Father's Day. We got sidetracked.
I stopped plugging
yeah.
it years ago.
Oh,
But
damn.
I probably should. I think Jacob and Nick finally
What's
broke my fucking
gym.exe?
spirit.
I doubt that.
I think you bested me when you finally bought that fatherly advice book and gave it to me for Christmas. I still have it, and I just,
good.
it's funny because every time I look at it, I'm just angry. But I won't throw it away because it was a gift.
It's the long burn.
Yeah, it just keeps working, man. Every time I see it, I'm like, God fucking damn it. I'm still mad about that. Anyway, writer, great question. We're really glad to hear that things are moving in a better direction for you. Stay positive. You are good enough, and continue to grow. And keep putting oil in your car. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we are talking about struggling with being in a rut. He's got the bingo up on the screen now. You're listening to Pod Therapy.
Today's episode is brought to you by Judy Schneider, Leon Kasab, Carolyn Albert, Sammy Scoop, Sarah Smith, Mike Helm, Darren Cunningham, Cody the DeLorean Guy, Brady Malachek, and Max the Ginger Scoop. You can't have that up there.
He's got Angry Jim and Angry Nick up there.
And then he's just gonna...
Nick gets
Just
angry way
whenever
more.
you check any box, move it over.
Shut the fuck up! Oh shit, we just gave him bingo.
I don't need either one of those. Those are both out of the way.
I feel like I need one more, and I'm gonna shoot my shot in a minute here.
All right, here we go. Are you smarter than a fifth grader?
Oh shit, I hate that show.
Whitney, we'll start with you.
Yay! I'm ready.
What's the name of a group of crows?
Ooh, a murder.
Nice.
Correct.
Counting.
Yay!
I'll give you 2 points.
2 crows.
Murder,
and attempted murder.
Jim.
Yes, sir.
What is the only U.S. state that grows coffee commercially?
Fuck you.
Oh, that's easy.
Come on, this one's easy.
Columbia.
What U.S.
Oh, sorry,
state?
the District of Columbia.
No.
Is that not it?
District of Columbia. That's amazing.
Wait, what's
That's
the
where it's
easy
from.
answer?
There's a guy with a donkey, and it comes from the
District of Columbia.
Colombian coffee.
No, Jim.
That's the
All right.
country of Colombia.
Is that on these boards?
I guess that
Dumbass.
makes more sense.
Also, not a state.
Okay, that's got to be on my bingo card
That's
somewhere,
gotta be
right?
somewhere, right?
I don't like this game. I think you all go fuck
okay.
yourselves.
Oh, no,
Jacob-
that's okay. I got one. Shit about the trivia.
I have
yeah.
Jacob wins
Fuck the
trivia
trivia.
on mine.
Oh,
Okay.
I don't have that
know.
one. I have Jacob sings on mine.
So
Very tempting.
Can I get options?
No, I'm
you already got it
stealing.
wrong.
Oh, come on.
I'm stealing
I was
anyway.
spiritually right.
Jacob's
It
gonna
goes
steal.
to me, right?
Yes.
Hawaii.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Of course, it's the only
Wow.
state that
Yeah.
can grow coffee.
Why is that obvious? Don't act like that's obvious.
It
That
is
was-
Because it's very
Kona-
famous coffee.
Kona
Kona
coffee?
coffee.
Hawaiian
I thought that was
coffee is
sugar.
very famous.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
They grow pineapples and coffee.
Okay.
Yep.
Jacob,
Yes.
what is the Roman numeral for 50?
Let's see. Are there other Roman numeral
I think I
questions?
know
Should
this
I not
one.
do this out loud?
I don't think there are.
There are any other Roman
I
numeral
think I
questions
know
coming?
this one.
They're all
No, I-
Roman numerals from here on out.
Okay. Let's see. I is 1, V is 5, X is 10, L is 50.
Oh.
Shit.
Correct?
Yeah.
So
C is
would you
100,
have given
M is
it to him
1,000.
if he would have said 5 X's? Could that count?
No, because
No,
that's not the
I
Roman
would
numeral.
not have given him
That's
that.
not the Roman numeral for 50.
I thought the football,
Could be 50
like the
eyes.
Super Bowl, was LIV. Wasn't that 50
That was
or
59.
No? Oh, that's 50.
Yeah, that's
54.
50,
LIV.
54.
Oh,
yeah,
IV is
54,
4,
yeah.
yeah. So L. Okay.
No, but it was LIX. So she's
Oh,
wrong.
LAX,
It was
yeah.
LIX.
Anyway,
yeah.
I
Here
would
it
have gotten
was,
it
yeah.
wrong, but I was close.
Yeah.
Which doesn't count.
You were wrong in the right way.
Exactly.
All right, Whitney.
Yay.
How many sides does a nonagon have?
What the fuck? It's 0. It's a nonagon.
Cat
A
leasing.
non-agon? A non-agon?
Nonagon.
Dun 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 dun.
Nonagon.
Get options.
I can get options?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
options.
Okay. 8, 9, 10, or 11.
Oh, shit, 0's not on there. Sorry, I fucked you on
I
that.
was going to guess 9 for fun.
That feels right.
So I'm just
Yeah.
going to say 9.
It's got an N in it.
1 point.
Yay!
All right.
Dang, I could have gotten 2. Oh.
All right. Jim, in geography,
Fuck!
what is an isthmus?
I already counted my Jim gets mad about trivia square. I've already done that one.
Okay, yeah, that's
Fucking
earned.
Holiday with a loose tooth, I guess. Fucking isthmus.
Well, if Jacob makes it through the end of the show, I'll have Jacob
Wish
wins
you
trivia.
a merry isthmus. Give me options.
Okay. Is it A narrow strip of land connecting two large land areas.
It's a peninsula.
A flat... no, it's not.
I was like, that's not a peninsula.
It is not. A flat elevated area, a sharp mountain range, or a dry riverbed.
Jesus Christ. God damn this. So the first one's not a peninsula?
No, what is a peninsula?
I thought it was that one. I thought it was a bridge.
A narrow strip of land connecting two large land areas?
Huh.
Is Florida a narrow strip connecting two large land areas?
Answer no.
No.
Because it doesn't touch Cuba. But if it did, it would be.
Gingerly touches its tip.
Sure.
Just the tip. Just the tip. I'm going to go with...
The logic.
How do you just get, like, day to day?
I lost my doctorate in a gambling problem.
Multiple times.
A gambling scheme.
A scheme.
A scheme.
Fucking predatory. That's what it was.
A Jacob scheme.
All right. Give me the one with it's a hill.
A flat area?
No, there was one.
A sharp mountain ridge?
No, that's not it.
A dry riverbed?
No, I don't want any of those. Give me the one where...
I'll give you the one that you asked for that's not an option.
Give me the one that I thought was a peninsula.
Yes.
Yes, that was
God,
it. That's an
That's
isthmus.
the longest way to get to a
Fuck
point.
yeah! Let's go! I'm on the board, bitch.
Jacob, last one. Which Great Lake is the only one entirely within the U.S.?
Oh. That is... Damn.
I know this one.
Lake Mead.
It's a great...
I was just there on Saturday.
I guess give me options.
Ooh.
Superior, Michigan, Huron, Ontario.
Bro, Michigan's a red herring. Don't take that.
I know where Lake Michigan is.
Yeah, but
that's
it's
the one I
named
got.
after an American state.
That's good.
I got that one.
Just seems like that'd be a
How many Great Lakes are there?
5.
That's what I thought. Because I wasn't going to take choices, and then I was like, wait, I think there are more Great Lakes than 4.
Next face 5.
I'm getting angry.
Yeah.
Oh, is that on my
Angry Nick! Angry Nick! I get it!
I don't have Angry Nick.
Bingo!
I think I've got that one.
I have,
Is it long that I give myself that one?
I think
feel
you came by it honestly.
I have Crazy Nick's Crazy Fitness. Did we
Yep,
do
I
that?
checked that one too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought so. Just had double check.
I think it's. I'll say Huron.
No, it's Michigan.
It is Michigan.
Oh,
I thought Michigan
idiots.
was curled into Canada then.
Wow, you're
No,
really bad
no,
at this.
Michigan, because you got Michigan on one side,
Right.
Illinois, or Michigan's on one side, Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin.
But you have to like go through part of Canada to get certain places in Michigan, right? Or from part of Michigan to another
No,
part
you're
of Michigan.
you're thinking the east part of Michigan.
Yeah.
Lake Michigan is on the west side of Michigan.
Oh my gosh,
It's
it
an
is.
isthmus,
But no,
you
because
idiot.
never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't know.
I thought it
He's
was
looking
in.
at the hand.
I thought it was in that little gap,
So
like
bad at
around where
this.
the thumb would be.
No.
If like Michigan
I was
is
really
is a
not
no.
taking
that's
advantage
not.
of this
No, it is not.
situation.
What is that
enough.
one?
Jacob does Nick. Oh. Like an
That would
impression.
be. You've got
It doesn't
Erie,
matter. Let's
Lake Erie down there.
I have that
And
one
then
on my
the
card
top
and I
part,
still didn't hear it.
I gotta
right
think.
that way.
I can't remember.
Okay. Fighting over a Googleable fact. I'm going to go ahead and click that.
I don't get that one. Nobody's fought over a Google
I
fact.
think that just kind of happens.
Oh no! I was just asking. I don't know. I'm not fighting over anything.
Yeah. All right. Jacob.
I don't know all of my Great Lakes.
All right. Yeah. Jim's son
I don't
emasculates him.
I have that one too.
Damn it. There's a lot of things.
I'm going to go ahead and click on
Fuck
Jim
this.
requires excessive
I
admiration.
have Jim loses another bet, but
Jim
he's
loses
like on
another bet.
he's on the verge. So I'm like, does it count?
Fuck. There's too
Well,
many
we got to go to
If I
Top
know
Golf to
he's
finish that
if I
one.
know
That's
he's
right.
going to lose it, can I preemptively check it?
Nope.
That's a free space.
Yeah.
All right. Staying motivated. Nope. That was the
Is
last
Jim
question.
soft? Yeah, everybody's free space.
Yes.
Okay.
Struggling in a
that
rut.
does happen a lot.
From Be Gay,
Yeah.
Do Crimes. Hi, guys. I'm writing this email
Hi.
from a rut. I don't like myself right now. This is long. Deal with it. It's thick and rock hard, too. I'm a 41-year-old gay man living in Israel. Ooh, tough time to live in Israel. I've been with my partner for 9 years. I've been going to therapy since 2012 or so. Been on a dose of Lexapro since around 2015.
What's that?
That is an antidepressant.
Okay.
Yep. Started with 10 milligrams and then went up to 25 milligrams during COVID.
Is that a lot?
It's about the average dose. 10's usually the starter dose. 25's fine.
Cool.
I've never been diagnosed, but anxiety, prolonged and or intense sadness, loneliness, feelings of guilt, fluctuating moods, and unstable self-image are close companions of mine. I stopped therapy about 2 years ago when I felt like during most sessions things would get resolved without my therapist uttering a word. I figured journaling would work well enough and cost less. I was seeing a private practice therapist. When the war started and the shit hit the fan, I ended up going back to therapy. We did some meaningful work, and then my therapist eventually let me know he and his family decided to leave the country and because of the current government. A few months later, he left as planned. We spent several sessions discussing his departure, how things would go, that we would try Zoom, and how it all felt. I had hated doing Zoom sessions during COVID for couples counseling with a different therapist and was not optimistic, which I told him. After a few Zoom sessions, I decided to call it quits. I felt remote therapy just wasn't giving me enough, and it didn't justify the cost and the new time limitations that he had. Before we parted ways, we were working on the feeling that there's nobody to rely on and how disappointed I feel by parental and authority figures. We talked about my disappointment with my parents, my country, my current and former bosses, friends, and men I'd had relationships with. Of course, his departure mirrors the situation and brought up lots of feelings. My psychiatrist wants to change my medication. I'm not sure what to do, but he's under the impression that I'm not happy and stable enough. I feel, however, that he doesn't spend a lot of time listening to me, and he has nothing but my word to go on, and sees me once every 2 months. I will admit that I've done MDMA and some other party drugs a few times this year, knowing that it can fuck with my mood. I think my overall question is, what the fuck do I do next, other than start looking for a new therapist and upgrade my Patreon tier? I think,
there it is.
Which, by the way,
That's on bingo.
both can be the same thing. I think I also want to know what the fuck is wrong with me. I've asked for a word several times and never got one. No treatment plans either, hi Nick. Maybe because both my therapists are from the school of psychoanalysis. We never actually did analysis. Did I mention that my previous therapist referred me to my current one when she went on maternity leave? My subconscious thinks everyone, including my parents and both therapists, will abandon me for their other, more interesting family. This is getting pretty long, so I guess I'll stop. I do want to say that I'm very grateful to all 3 therapists I've worked with in the past. I made a ton of progress thanks to them, and I'm in a much better place. It's not all bad. P.S. I like Jim, and listening to him talk about ADHD for 6 hours is my hyper-focus.
I think we could cut off the letter before that.
Pod therapy has been a big help for me this past year. Thank you to all 4 of you. Remember, be gay, do crimes.
Well, first off, I hope you're safe.
Yeah.
And I hope everything's going well. It's a pretty scary time to be over there. So,
Oh, something going on over there?
I think there's...
I hadn't really been watching much news.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit. They've got some stuff going on.
Whoa.
So,
I heard about some things.
Oh, abandonment issues. That's hard.
And I think a
Oh.
lot of people can experience that with therapists.
I feel like as a therapist, I worry about that sometimes. Like when there is a life change or my schedule has to change or something like that. It's like, how do you talk to a client that's been in a slot? I know, Jim, you said yours bounce around a lot, but like I have probably at least half my clients or a little more are in a consistent slot. So it's like,
that's interesting. Right.
So when you're going to shift things around for personal reasons. It's funny, before this letter even, I do worry about that. I'm like, oh, how are they going to perceive it? Are they going to feel okay? Maybe
so there are
that's
situations
codependent.
where you have to let them go. Like, because it's like there are no other slots and I'm cutting half of this day away and that's it.
Right, half a day away. Or I'm like, well, these are the other options I have. So
If that
can you
doesn't
do that?
fit, we're done.
I think most recently I had a client. I have 2 clients who are kind of every other week. So I'm trying to fit them into one slot because they're very close together. Like
Right.
it could almost fit, but it's not.
Yeah.
So I mentioned that, and one of them's like, "Oh, that doesn't really work for me," and the other one's like, "Oh, it definitely can't work for me." So part of me is like, "Well, I kind of want to force that a little bit more,"
Yeah,
but I like feel
well,
bad.
This is it. Yeah.
Because
Come
one of
get
them
it.
doesn't have a great like. It's like, "Oh, I have to make dinner later." I'm like,
Yeah.
well,
Make it work.
Guess you're
Yeah.
gonna have to make dinner later than
Guess
or
I'm coming
not.
to dinner.
I know. The other one like literally can't leave work or whatever. So
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know. So I struggle with that, where you kind of are pushing clients into either a different slot, or if they can't, then if they really can't,
Right.
like they just can't meet with you, and then you're like,
Right.
wow, we've like worked and built this rapport, and
Yeah.
how do you transition, or what does that look like? I don't
Gosh,
know.
and well, I mean, in this case too, I think it's so profound because I mean, the writer's therapist left the country,
Yeah.
kind of for political asylum. Was sort of like, hey, this country's under attack. I don't love our government. I feel like I need to get out of here. And it's like, okay, and they tried to keep it going with Zoom, but it's like, well, I also respect that modality is not for everybody, and I respect Be Gay Do Crimes for saying, I know myself well enough to know that this isn't going to work for me. I mean, because it is tough, right? Because I mean, I'd always nudge toward like, well, it doesn't sound like not doing it at all is working. So maybe we need to give it the old college try. We just kind of talked about that in the A block about like, sometimes you weren't ready the first time you tried something, but like maybe you've changed since then and maybe it's time to give it back. But having said that, I do respect that forcing it whenever that modality just does not work for you is a real thing. But having sort of this abandonment wound already and then having to let go of two therapists, it really is so hard.
It is. I kind of want, well, first thing I want to address is the psychiatrist. I feel like that's a little like, bunny trail for a second. Most psychiatrists only spend about 20 minutes,
Yeah,
15
you're lucky.
minutes.
Yeah.
The first session, what I've seen is normally about half an hour.
Right.
And then, every month or two, you might get 15 minutes.
Right.
And they aren't there. I think that's a really big misconception that psychiatrists do therapy.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I've seen, at least.
Yeah.
Like for just a plain Jane, plain Joe on the street.
Right.
They think psychiatrists, the movies portray this,
Right.
TV shows
Yeah.
portray them
They're
as
sitting
like
in the chair.
sitting doing
Is that
therapy.
something that's changed over the years? Did psychiatrists at
They
one time
used
do
to
more
be-
therapy?
So they used to be very trained in it, and that was absolutely something they would do. But as it became just exclusively this medical discipline, they became the psychopharmacology
Right.
experts.
Yeah,
I
so I
think-
do think there was a shift.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also probably has something to do with reimbursement from insurance too. I think
It's
whereas
they'll
like
go
you know,
broke. Yeah.
Right. I mean a psychiatrist, they've got a very specialized set of
They've
skills.
been through med school.
Well, they can
like-
see
Yeah, and so-
3 patients an hour and get
Yeah.
reimbursed $200 for every patient that they saw and prescribed meds to, or they can do therapy for that whole hour and get
Yeah.
reimbursed $120.
Yeah.
So it's not even a question. They're
Right.
gonna
Right.
get $1,000 an hour and just
Right.
keep shuffling people through the system.
Right.
And also, like, it's not, I mean, they can't do it. There's not enough of them. And
Yeah.
there's actually this huge movement in the APA right now to get psychiatry back to the basics of like learning psychotherapy.
Oh, that's cool.
It's kind of an interesting discussion because they're saying, hey, we've lost touch with this skill. We don't know how to do it. And we're so out of touch that we can't even collaborate with our mental health colleagues anymore because all the therapists look at us like we're dumb because we don't speak that language anymore.
Yeah.
And like they've learned, like we therapists have learned to speak psychopharmacology. So a lot of times the psychiatrists feel a little out of the loop.
I do think, I think back to a friend of mine when I worked at the insurance company. They were LCSW and they had considered going to school to become a psychiatrist. I think they would have done great in it, whatever. But they talked to the psychiatrist, one of the psychiatrists on staff for this like major nationwide company. But she had talked to them and asked like, hey, what are your thoughts about getting into that field?
Okay.
And the psychiatrist literally told her like,
Don't do it.
don't do it.
Yeah.
They were like, I don't think it's worth it because there is this weird kind of what you said. You can either do therapy or you're basically a doctor. Doctors prescribe psychiatric meds,
Right.
like
Oh,
to
sure.
an extent, like just your general practitioner.
Right.
So, like, where does psychiatry fit into this? It's like, and nurse practitioners.
Nurse practitioners
are doing
prescribe.
most of it now. Like,
Yeah.
where does the actual psychiatrist
Right.
fit into this?
Like
It's
the
My
very
doctor
weird.
would they first I forget what the medication was, but my doctor several years ago put me on a medication, and I guess one of the possible side effects of this medication was depression. And so follow-up appointment, he has this whole questionnaire about
The scale.
are you depressed or with whatever. It wasn't even the scale, it was more just yes or no questions.
Yeah, like 10 questions maybe, or no?
I think it was like, yeah, I
feel
don't
like
remember.
most doctors do that now. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, go on.
But anyway, like he was, and you know, I didn't have that side effect, whatever, it didn't matter. But he was fully prescribed, or he was fully prepared to prescribe an antidepressant.
Yeah.
Right
On
there.
top of the
to,
other
to
medication?
counteract the side effect from the other medication.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like that was just his next
Your
step.
typical doctor will do it, but I appreciate where B-Gay is saying, hey, it kind of sucks because I used to have this therapist that at least collaborated with the psychiatrist.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that like I really like that dynamic duo. I'm great not prescribing meds.
It
I'm
feels
great
like you got
giving
somebody on
feedback.
your team that kind of knows what's going on.
Well, we speak the same language.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you a story really quick about where this shit really mattered. I had a patient in this last year who was dealing with some very severe OCD, and it really had a lot of co-occurring things going on. And the psychiatrist had been prescribing so many meds, and this person had gone to inpatient psychiatric, had gotten out, was doing outpatient, and was on so many meds. And I like part of the assessment, you're getting all the information, like, okay, what are all the meds? And like, I'm looking at all these like meds, and I'm like kind of like counting up how many different ones are related to serotonin. And I'm looking at the dosages. And like, again, I'm not a prescriber. I'm not the expert. They're the fucking expert. But like, I'm
You can
really
look up
passionate about
basic
learning
info.
psychopharm. Like, I think that we need to know that. We need to be competent
We
in that.
do. Yeah.
And I was looking at it and I was like, I'm concerned of serotonin syndrome. But I didn't tell the patient that because that's, you know, I'm not going to get in between them and the doctor.
Yeah.
But I said, hey, do you want to sign a release allowing me to speak to the psychiatrist and back and forth? Like, yep. So they did that. And once I had permission, I reached out privately to the psychiatrist and I was like, hey, again, not here questioning you. I just wanted to give you a heads up. I'm seeing these physical symptoms in this patient. They are extremely sluggish. They can barely concentrate
We have
during
so much
session.
more time with them for them
I
to
have an
share
hour
these
with them
things.
every
Yeah.
fucking week. And I'm like, look, I am spending 4 hours a month with this human. I'm talking to their family. I'm interviewing.
Yeah.
This is what I'm seeing. They're falling asleep in the session. They're not coherent. They're like not following what we're talking about. And like, these are not like congruent with their symptoms. And so I wrote to the psychiatrist and said, hey, you know, I'm just concerned it might be serotonin syndrome. I just want to give you a heads up because I know you don't get to catch all that extra data. Here's my data. You decide, doc. And psychiatrist wrote me back and said, go fuck yourself all the way up.
There you go.
And they were like, you don't know what you're talking about. That is not your, and I was like, I'm thinking, oh fuck, did I say something wrong? I am so sorry. And like, this person's like, no, they're fine. It's not serotonin syndrome. And I'm like, okay. And so like a month goes by and the situation gets significantly worse. And so I write them again and I'm like, again, I don't want to say that I know what this is. I trust your judgment, but I want to report I am seeing this kind of symptomology in session. I am concerned for this person. They wrote me back again and telling me, like, you do not know what you're talking about. I have triple checked the scripts. We're fine.
They're an MD.
Patient goes to the ER. ER doctor looks at the scripts, freaks the fuck out,
Oh,
and
my
was
God.
like, yep, this guy has serotonin syndrome. Holy shit. Gets him off of everything. Calls the psychiatrist and goes, what the actual fuck were you doing? This person, like, there's no way that these symptoms just suddenly started.
Yeah.
This sounds like it's been going on for a long fucking time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God damn it. Like, I was trying. Like, again, I was trying to fucking help you, but that's
So what
the
was
tag
the
team.
psychiatrist's response to that? Oh, hey, thanks for letting me know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that. Yeah. No harm, no foul.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh
Ghosted.
yeah. Did that happen? Darn. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, and it's so tough, right? It just, I don't know.
I feel like we should talk about malpractice
A
insurance
little
now.
bit, yeah. Today's show
No,
is brought
no,
to you
no,
by
no.
HPSO.
Why it exists.
I call shenanigans. Oh, was that? I thought you were leading him for bingo.
No.
Oh, okay. All
No,
right.
I was laughing at the fact that it sounds like this
Okay.
psychiatrist could get sued for something.
Sorry, I was
Yeah.
not taking the episode seriously. I thought we were
Yeah,
still
yeah.
in bingo.
No, I still have. I've got one left on bingo that I could trigger.
I have one
instantly.
too.
I think you got to go for blackout, though. I feel like getting a straight line is too easy. In this
Yeah,
game,
that's
okay?
actually
I mean,
fair.
I could just say one sentence and Jim would give me the bingo right now.
Probably
Yeah.
true. But
I
would
feel
you be
like-
proud of yourself?
That's why I haven't done it.
Go ahead, Wade.
Got to earn it. Can't make it too easy.
I want to get it before I turn 40. I'm very youthful.
Not a wrinkle on there. No, I think first of all, I guess I should ask, do you have like a referral for a person you trust as a prescriber or no?
Yeah, kind of.
like one or two out there? Not really.
I probably have one.
Okay.
Which says a lot that
Okay.
in practicing for 13 years, there's one person that I kind of trust.
Yeah. through like the Nevada Mental Health Associates that I'm associated with, we do have like a nurse practitioner that we sort of refer to, but I trust her. And what I love is that I do have her email, and like if the client wants to sign off like an ROI to share information, a release of information to share that.
Right.
I love it because I feel like I've gotten enough feedback from clients too that share, okay, yes, like she listened to me. She gave me good feedback. We adjusted meds. I can check in. Not with her, but
nurse
with
practitioners a lot of times because they
those
sort
are
of
the
came
only
up from
two
the
I have
ranks.
referrals.
A lot of
for,
bedside
too.
manner. They just did not
know.
enter this career at that level, and so like they spend their time. I
They
do get
do.
pissy with some of them though because they can bill for psychotherapy. And I've got one or two that I've talked to, and they're literally jamming it into their 30-minute meeting so that they can bill on
weird.
it. And I'm just like, this is dumb. Like, you're not trained anyway. So
yeah, that sucks.
let's get back to this writer. So Be Gay Do Crimes is in a war zone, feeling depressed. Therapist that they've been working with for a long time has left. They have historic abandoned wounds. They've tried to adapt and try a telehealth model. That hasn't worked. And so now it's this question of like, where do we go from here? You know, what do we do? And I think it's tough because, you know, they say, I know you guys are going to tell me to get back into therapy, increase my Patreon, which, yes, you know, do both those things.
I don't know.
This
There's
is a
like,
tough one.
There's growth and change that happens. I think sometimes we get very comfortable. This doesn't have to be with therapy. It can be with anything. We get very comfortable in like our golf swing and how well we're doing.
Oiling our car.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that back.
We get very comfortable with where we're at and whatever that is, whether it's showing up for certain clients. Like, that's why I love CEUs, because it kind of forces you to learn more about something else. Like, those are good things because we as humans, we like to settle in. We like to kind of get in a comfort zone, even though it doesn't stretch us and grow us. And so, I think there is a struggle that can come with this Be Gay Do Crimes, Mr. Do Crimes.
Monsieur Do Crimes.
I think there is a struggle that comes with that where we don't like change as humans, but also really the only thing that's guaranteed in life is change.
Yeah.
And I hate that for us, for us as human beings. But trying to sort out what is the next step really just relies on what you think is best. I think it's great to maybe reach out to some new therapists, do some consultation calls, maybe a first session, see if there's anyone that really fits well with you. But I know that's an overwhelming task.
Well, it is, but also we need to talk about the MDMA.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The MDMA in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mean what, Jacob? It's just,
Well, yeah,
he's
he's been
carrying.
doing. Yeah.
He's holding.
I'm holding.
I mean, here's the thing. Be Gay Do Crimes.
That throws a big old monkey wrench in a lot of things.
It
That's
does.
fair.
Like, and I get it. Like, I'm not one that's going to sit here and scold anybody for using recreational drugs. It's not my business.
Why are you looking at Jacob?
But I do think
Lots of
He
scowling.
was genuinely not. He was working really hard not to look at it.
That's right.
I'm,
Looking right
I'm
at the
really
floor.
focusing. I don't want to look at. I don't want to look at any of you druggies. I'm just focusing on my laptop.
Those two are the problem. I'm the sober one.
I'm just
okay?
over here eating my MDMA.
They're both fucking lit.
No, I
Getting high in the parking lot.
you do have to understand though that does throw in a whole nother layer of complexity to this.
Jesus.
A lot of questions,
to a
right?
problem that's already complex.
Yes.
You know, you're just adding I won't even say one or two variables. Like, you're adding in a ton of variables.
Ooh, what do you see with that? What are the biggest variables? Or like what?
Maybe you could
It's
describe
just-
them in an analogy format.
Yeah. Maybe oil.
What are those-
Your
What are
brain
those
is like a
variables
race
like?
car. No, it's anytime you're throwing in any other psychoactive substance. I mean, even like, you know, Jim was talking about someone who's prescribed multiple substances and how it was problematic.
Right.
You know, now we're talking about having a doctor that is prescribing something and then you putting in other psychoactive substances that your doctor doesn't know about.
Right.
You know, and that just throws in a lot.
Do
of
we know that the doctor
complications.
doesn't know about that?
We don't, but I'm assuming
I feel like it's safe
the
assumption.
doctor's not like adjusting their medications to accommodate for the writer's MDMA use. You know,
Well, and
I
it
think
would
that's
scare the
attitude.
doctor because speaking of serotonin syndrome, MDMA plus Lexapro can lead to rapid onset serotonin syndrome. Because what MDMA is doing has to do with affecting serotonin balance. So, I mean, and Big A doesn't say like, oh yeah, I'm doing that once a week. It's saying like, look, I've done that periodically.
Right.
I'm owning that. I'm sure that has been disruptive to the regulation of the overall Lexapro efficacy. Yes, but I think we're just kind of agreeing with you, Big A, and saying, yeah.
Let me ask this
chronic
question.
depression. Don't fuck around with MDMA.
The problem is already enough to deal with.
Yeah.
It's already
Right.
complex enough. I don't know if we need to add another level.
Let me ask this question: does BK using the MDMA make you automatically say something physical has occurred because of the MDMA? The MDMA has physically had an effect on you and possibly continues to,
Like chemically in the brain.
right? Or are you just saying that adds a new layer of questions that we have to ask and we don't know the answers to?
Great question. The latter. The
Okay.
first one.
Great.
Yeah, I think biologically,
The latter or the first one?
Biochemically.
So you're speaking mainly biochemically.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Thank you.
That would be my main concern.
Yeah,
So
it's not
you're
a smoking gun. I don't
Gotcha.
think the MDMA causes
no,
any
no,
of
no.
this. I think the patient has chronic depression, is trying a stronger, well, not even that big of a dose of Lexapro, but is reliant upon a moderate sized dose of Lexapro and is fucking with MDMA,
Well,
which just knocks over all the pots in the kitchen.
It's kind of like if you were going to fire a bow and arrow at a target and it's
oiled up
already
a
a
car.
difficult target to hit. And then so now you're going to be like, I'm going to do this, but while riding a horse.
Yeah.
That's kind of the problem.
Yeah,
You need a different bow.
We're working on like getting the drip, drip, drip of serotonin
Right.
just right in this patient's brain, and that's what the Lexapro's been trying
So
to
this
do.
is not an issue where you're like, I now have a lot more questions. You're saying this is a physical issue.
Yeah.
The MDMA,
Yeah.
this definitively causes a physical issue with this medication.
And we see this also
Great.
even off of the Lexapro. Like you could die by combining these two things, but like even if a person wasn't taking Lexapro and was struggling with chronic depression and told me that they habitually or routinely or in some kind of periodic way use MDMA, I'm concerned at the effect the MDMA has on chronic depression.
Gotcha.
Because every once in a while your brain's getting this weird like bath in serotonin in these ways that are not regulated. And so it's kind of like the old dopamine effect of like,
predictable.
yeah. And so it's
Yeah.
like you're getting all of the happy at once and then you're paying the debt of all the sad, right? Like the old joke, like alcohol's borrowing happiness from tomorrow. It's that. And so like, but it's MDMA. So it's like, fucking, here's a month,
Yeah.
of serotonin all at once. And now all of your, shit's blown out for a
Yeah,
while.
seems like Jim knows a lot about MDMA, guys.
Oh. Yep. Party with Jim.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like if we do this Top Golf thing, it should be you have to defeat me every game. So like, all I have to
will.
get is one.
Fine.
Yeah. Okay. If I get
I'll
one,
allow
The
it.
it's over.
question, how much do you want me to beat you by?
Yeah. Okay. Hey, you haven't been in a while. All right. You're rusty. I just went.
To Top Golf?
This
Dude,
is
Bro, there are
laughable.
ways to
This
win this
is
game that are not about being
laughable.
good at golf.
Also,
Jim
I
has
swing
never
a
seen
golf
Nick
club.
play golf.
I
Is
hit
what this
200
shows.
balls a day.
also,
dude.
it doesn't matter
Bring
because it's
it.
not going to happen.
Exactly.
Damn it, Jacob! Why you gotta ruin my fun? What
Patreon
blanket,
level
Jacob?
where
I'll be
live
happy if it does happen.
YouTube the
I just
entire
don't think
thing.
it will.
God damn it!
Anyway.
I'm all in. If it, I want to go play Top Golf. I like Top
I do
Golf.
too.
My last advice, be gay. I do want you to follow up with your psychiatrist. It's the only
feel like I
provider
could be
you still
Jim.
have a connection with. And even though we're teasing psychiatry as not being very, in tuned, this is your last provider standing. Their prescriptions sound correct. Those were, double checked by your original therapist. And if they're saying, hey, look, your depression is growing, we need to respond medicinally, I'm telling you to trust your provider. I'm not going to shit on the psychiatrist. Yeah, I'm telling stories about where they're wrong, and therapy, I think, has a place in this equation. But I trust the therapist or the doctor in this case on the ground. And so if that's your provider and they're saying, I am in charge of your mental health and I want to increase this, I hope you do. Or I hope you will follow up and follow their orders.
Is that because you've learned your lesson about sending psychiatrist emails
Yes,
with
yes.
advice?
He doesn't have a good track record when confronting doctors. and
Never
disagreeing
goes
with
well.
them.
Never goes well. Never goes
Always
well.
ends up with one person crying.
Yeah.
And that person is always Jim.
Yeah. Always. As I'm typing the email. Like wiping tears from my eyes. Like, anyway, be gay, do crimes. Thank you for your long-term support of this, and good luck on
Yeah.
everything going on.
Thank you for writing in.
There's a lot going on, so hang in
Yeah.
there, buddy. Be safe. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're talking about surviving shared custody. You're listening to Pod Therapy.
Today's episode is brought to you by Judy Schneider, Leon Kassab, Carolyn Albert, Sammy Scoop, Sarah Smith, Mike Helm, Darren Cunningham, Cody the DeLorean Guy, Brady Malachek, and Max the Ginger Scoop. Would you like to sponsor the show? Become a therapy producer. Patreon.com/therapy. All right,
My
here we
question
go.
better not be fucking geography again.
I already got that square on bingo.
Whitney.
Jim being mad about the
Yes.
questions.
In a food chain, what kind of organism is always at the bottom?
McDonald's.
Options.
Oh, that's a
because
fa-
I
that's a
don't really
fast
even
food
know
chain.
what the question
Yeah.
is asking. Go on.
Predator,
Oh. food chain.
herbivore.
Okay. I was like,
producer, decomposer,
okay, sorry. So which one's at the bottom? Food chain.
Yeah.
All right. Repeat
Predator?
the.
herbivore, producer, decomposer.
I mean, decomposer?
No, I'm sorry. It's
Oh.
producer.
Yeah.
I would like to steal.
Too late.
Oh, yeah.
Jim's turn.
Producer. Final answer.
Okay, good job.
Plus
Dang
one.
it.
Let's go.
I think I got 3 points.
Nope.
All right, Jim, what are the 5 types of vertebrates?
Mammals. Birds. That's 2. Fish. Reptiles. Amphibians.
Correct, but I needed them in alphabetical order.
God damn it, of course you did. That was silly.
So close.
Damn it.
Idiot.
Man.
Such a
fucking
dum-dum.
isthmus.
So close.
Man, Jim, I'd love to give you credit for that.
I know you would.
I would.
I know.
We all would. Nothing would make
I won't
us
learn
all
if we don't.
happy.
We have
No,
to
no.
enforce the
No.
rules equally. They're
Yeah.
the same all over.
Yep.
Shit.
Jacob, which planet is closest to the sun?
Oh, I know this one.
Mercury.
Shit, he's really
You are correct.
Yeah.
It's not a planet anymore,
My
dummy.
very energetic mother just served us 9 pizzas, but we got to take Pluto out.
Yep.
Or did we?
Okay.
Do we add Pluto back? No.
No,
Yeah,
No.
no, it's not bad.
It's
I
what
There's a
dwarf
new
planet.
one.
It's a dwarf like planetoid or something.
I think I saw a news
Yeah,
article.
no, there's a new possible.
one.
There's possibly
Maybe.
a new planet
Okay.
way
All
out.
All right. Cool.
What's the other dog? Not Pluto.
Goofy.
Goofy.
He's not
We should
a
name it
dog.
Goofy.
He's a human.
That would be good.
He's like a human dog.
You're arguing that Goofy
Yeah.
is a human.
Well, okay, but
That's the sentence you just
All
said.
right.
you're
moving
saying
on.
that Pluto and
That's the
Goofy are
sentence you
both
just said.
equally dogs? Because that's not true.
I just said he's a dog.
Reservoir Dogs.
Nobody said equal.
Reservoir.
That's
You know
a
I don't
thing.
like equality.
You know what? You're right. I do know that about you. Surviving shared custody. Hey, Pod Therapy peeps. I've been going through a sort of custody battle for the last few weeks and would really like some advice on how to not lose my head through this whole ordeal.
So currently you have custody of your head,
Yes.
and you would like to keep
You don't
custody
wanna
of your
lose
head.
that. Yeah,
you don't want to
get-
share custody of that
not
head.
half custody.
bad.
I'm going to do my best to keep this short and sweet, but no promises. My ex and I have been broken up for about a month now, and we share a 3-year-old son together. When she first moved
Is it
out,
yours?
I think. Oh, hopefully, I better get
I
that.
hope you didn't
tested.
steal that 3-year-old
Double
son.
check. When she first moved out, we came to a very basic agreement that I would get our son 3 days a week, the 3 days that she works, and only while she is at work. I agreed reluctantly with the stipulation that I would be able to ask for extra days here and there. I also believed her, the mom, to have the more inherent right to our son, and that custody would default to her, and I would have to take whatever I could get. My therapist, and anyone else I described the situation to, helped me realize that was just plain wrong, and my son deserves to see me just as much as his mother.
I think that was true at one point in this country.
That it was like the mom.
It defaulted to the mom
That
for a
has
long,
shifted.
long time. But yeah, that
Yeah.
changed quite a while ago.
The time that I would get to see him those 3 days totaled to 24 hours in a week. That is 1/7 of the week. My ex insists the current situation is half and half and ignores anything I say to the contrary. She has also made the argument that his sleeping time doesn't count, which I fully disagree with. But it still comes out to me seeing him 2/7 of the week after accounting for that. To make things worse, my ex has also been accusing me of doing and saying things around our son that I am just not doing. For example, my mom, his grandma, visited me and we took my son out to dinner with us. We were both very careful to keep the situation focused on my son and didn't once bring up his mom or the situation. Why would we want to taint the time we have with him?
And why would they even be discussing the Jersey Shore at all?
The situation.
Yeah.
And my ex picked him up.
That's my favorite pod therapy reference ever.
I don't even know.
Where's that on the bingo
I don't even know why
Fuck
you'd be
yes.
discussing the Jersey Shore.
Fuck yes.
Relevant. After my ex picked him up, she immediately started texting me, asking me what we said. She's been claiming that my son told her we talked poorly about her. I have no idea what she could have said, and she won't tell me. Or what? Yeah. She's been using this as an excuse to stop me from seeing him more than our arrangement. She says I just make things more difficult for them at his, quote, home. Now, Father's Day is coming up. I'm writing this the day before. Uh-oh. We agreed over a week ago that I would get my son on Father's Day, specifically with her replying, of course. One of my usual days I would see him is Saturday, so I assumed I'd see him both days of the weekend. I found out in an unrelated phone call yesterday that my ex thought we were swapping days and I would only get him on Sunday. None of this was ever discussed. I only ever received the of course. I brought up the original agreement that I would be able to get him extra days sometimes, and she brought up my mom saying that letting any extra days, I would not be getting any extra days from now on. I then decided it wasn't a fight worth having.
Wait. Sorry. The ex-spouse said because of the mother-in-law bad-mouthing the ex-spouse,
correct,
that she was now amending the agreement that she would not be giving that extra courtesy.
Days. Yes.
Okay.
That's how I understood that.
Okay, great.
Thank you for clarifying. I then decided it wasn't a fight worth fighting that moment and just reluctantly agreed to hand over my Saturday. Yesterday, Father's Day, was a rough night for me. This whole situation is driving me bonkers. I know I'm a great father, but I'm allowing my ex to convince me I'm a detriment to our son. It's the same reason I ultimately decided to end the relationship. I had to constantly convince myself I wasn't a waste of space, and I was losing that battle. Now it seems like it's never going to end. I'm trying to lean on my friends and family much more, but I still allow my ex so much control over my emotions and my self-image. How do I survive this battle? How do I stop myself from just giving up and taking what I can get? How do I deal with the fact that if I want to see my son, I'm going to have to deal with this lady for the rest of my life? I've been trying to avoid going to court because I know that will just add more stress to all sides, and I don't want that to affect my son. I just want us to both be adults and do what's best for our son. But how do we do that when we disagree so passionately? Thanks for reading. You guys are the best. Any advice is appreciated. Feel free to paraphrase. I just kind of let the words flow as I type them. Also, I typed them on my phone, so please excuse my autocorrect errors. Signed, Ray J. Shark.
Well, this just happens to be the episode that we brought up, that for the Patreon level, we will write a letter of recommendation.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Easy.
I know those will hold a lot of weight in court.
Yep. I'm a doctor.
Yes.
Judges think very highly of this show.
I think they do.
Oh my gosh, there's so much I want to just
get them, Whitney. Get in there.
Having friends in custody battles with their ex-partners, having clients in custody battles with their ex-partners, being a child who was part of custody battles with their parents. There's so much to say here. I think for starters, I can tell that you care very, very much about your son. It's your
You fooled her. You fooled Whitney. You got her.
You care very much about them. I'm just going to say it despite what Jacob's implying.
Jacob's high. Don't
yeah, he's on the MDMA stuff we mentioned earlier. Just don't mind him.
Drink of water.
So he claims.
This was a bottle of MDMA.
Water. MDMA water.
Just solid
Isn't
MDMA.
that a whole thing? I drank this water, it tasted funny, and they're like, oh, now you have I think it is MDMA. There's TV shows that joke about that. Anyway.
No.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but I love it.
You know, because you're drinking the water that has MDMA.
But this is very much like a custody battle.
So this poor, okay, so you care very much about your son. I want to say that existing in that space of what really matters at the end of the day is your relationship with your child. Yeah. When you say, I don't want to make things more difficult for anyone involved, I know that means yourself. Maybe in some space it means for your ex, but really it's for your child. And let me just say, if you you do it the right way, if you monitor yourself the way you have been, if that is true, you are not talking crap about your ex, if you're not bad mouthing her, and you are doing everything very authentically to like what's in the best interest of your child will be okay.
Yeah.
Like, I know my parents had a lot. I knew my parents had a lot going on in those custody battles. I didn't really see that directly, though.
Right.
There might have been some tension. There might have been things like that, but both parents did not like directly badmouth each other to me. If your ex is badmouthing you to that child, that's her prerogative or their prerogative. Like, if you know you are minding your P's and Q's, like, you can know that you're doing the right thing, and that is not your fault. There is a chance that your child will be, quote, harmed emotionally by this experience. You cannot protect your child from everything in this world, and that is okay.
Well, and also, there's also things going on that are happening now. Like if the mom is bad mouthing dad to the kid, you know, that's causing emotional whatever bullshit that's going on. But I'm saying, like, there is harm happening already.
The default state is painful for the kid.
Doing something that is doing something because it's going to cause harm isn't. I don't think that's a good reason to not do things.
You're seeing dad 1/7 of your life.
Yes.
That is by definition harmful.
Yes.
Like, just unacceptable.
Also, the sleeping thing is just bullshit. Of course, hours.
Yeah, that is bullshit.
Yeah, because like you're providing a safe home for that child.
Yeah.
Those hours where you're providing a safe home, that's what the judge is going to care about.
There's a lot of shenanigans going on.
Yeah.
I feel like she has gotten in his head.
Yeah.
Like, to say, oh, you deserve this or you don't deserve that. Like, I'm taking them all this time. Like, yeah, she's definitely weaseled her way.
My viewpoint on this is you've got to go the legal route. What do you guys think about that?
100%. 100%. You have to go the legal route.
And it'll be a pain in the ass, but it's going to be a Band-Aid and rip it off.
Yes, because then you'll have something documented that you both have to live by. And there's no, like, this is half the time and
Up
sleep counts. A judge decides that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's already been
out
set.
of your
mood
hands.
she's in, or she's like, you know what? I'm putting you in timeout. I don't agree with your parenting lately.
Doesn't
You gave him
fucking matter.
dessert past 10 o'clock? Nope, you've lost your parenting rights.
Yeah.
And honestly,
What?
I don't agree with this, but you can talk shit about your ex all you want. That doesn't fucking matter.
That's your business.
You still get to do that.
That is
and
your
have your kid half
business.
the time.
Right.
Again, not promoting that, but I'm just saying, in theory,
But it goes
that
back to your
doesn't
point of
matter.
like, I have to shine a positive light on you. I have to satisfy your expectations, or I don't have a son anymore.
Well, your ex doesn't get to dictate your behavior in your house around your your child.
The faster you get this sorted too legally, like Jacob said, I think the better off you are, because
And the better off the kid is.
Yes, I was just going
If
to
you
say
can
this.
end it,
Yes.
if you can get it to a point where it's just done,
Yes.
however you have to get it there.
Right.
For me, I was around 4 when my parents split. I don't even have a memory of them together. It didn't fucking matter. My normal is them apart, and that's fine for me. There was no damage. I mean, maybe there was. I don't know the alternative, but like, it doesn't feel like any damage was done there. It was just, this is my reality.
We know you, so we know that there's a lot of damage.
Oh, it's in the oil.
It's the oil.
You're always talking about oiling cars and shit. I mean, you bring it up a lot.
Issues. Me FaceTiming my dad to rub it in from the beach.
Yeah. Patreon.com/therapy if you want to find out how Whitney celebrated Father's Day.
Oh, I tried to call my dad on Father's Day, and his phone sent me right to voicemail.
Nice.
I did it again today, too. I was like,
I tried to call my dad on
dad's phone
Father's
is on.
Day only to discover he was
You
in
have a dad?
Jamaica. I know.
Is it your Faja?
My Faja, not Jim's Dark Lord the
Oh,
Faja,
okay.
but no, my real Faja.
He was
I tried
on
to
a
call
beach.
him. I'm like, "Where's Dad?" And I text my sister. I'm like, "Have you heard from Dad? Is he okay?" She's like, "He's in Jamaica."
Great.
The fuck?
Your sister
So that's a
knew.
yes.
I love
Yeah,
that.
she knew.
That is a yes to the question, is Dad okay?
Is that
Dad's
he's
doing
great?
Dad is definitively okay.
I would say there's no problem, man.
Yeah.
Is that what you would say, Nick?
No woman, no
Nick
cry.
Tangeman? That was Nick Tangeman doing
I
that
am
accent?
half Jamaican.
Yeah. Which half?
No, when
Nick, your answer is supposed to be the bottom half. Come on.
Because I got married in Jamaica.
Yeah, that's what I.
And so, like, to get
Honorarily
married
Jamaican.
in Jamaica, you have to be there at least 3 days, because then
Gotcha.
you're considered like a resident. So then after that, I was
feels
telling
right.
everybody, I'm
You're a
half
resident.
Jamaican.
You're a Jamaican
Yeah.
resident. Yeah. I like
Also, let me just throw out there, anyone I know with custody agreements, when there is the parent's birthday or a
Oh,
Father's
yeah.
or Mother's Day, there's no switching. You just get them that
That's just
extra
there.
time.
Bonus
Yes, of
yeah,
course.
just throwing that out there. Yeah.
No, I was 10 or 11 when my parents got divorced. And like I got brought into things. I had to like go into
choose in court and shit.
Yeah, do all that
Ooh,
kind of shit. Because
I never did
that's back then.
Back then, you could at like 12. They're like, "All right, you choose where
Yeah.
you want to live." Yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, we're talking late 80s, early 90s.
I did have a choice at one point. That's true. I wasn't brought into court,
It
but
wasn't
I could.
I don't remember it exactly being a choice either. I remember it was like, well, just like your opinion.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Just weigh in.
Yeah.
Well, and at one
But I don't
point,
remember if my parents asked me that or if a judge asked or if a lawyer. I don't remember who was.
let's be honest too. By the time they're 16, like you say, the rest of your life, and yes, your partner will.
I was
or
gonna say that
ex-partner-
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But really, by the time I was 16, I was just thinking about this the other day. I want to ask my dad this. I was primary custody mom. That was my choice.
Mm-hmm.
But like at some point, I was like, at 16, wasn't I just going when I wanted to?
Right.
Like, do I
I'm
want to
old
see my
enough.
dad? I have a car. I have a license.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
go see. I have like soccer games every weekend.
Right.
Like
I'm telling
not,
you guys what I'm up to.
Kind of.
Right.
Yeah. It doesn't.
Well, I was going to say too. I mean, because you say like, oh, I'm going to have to deal with my ex for the rest of my life. Like, your kid is going to be an adult.
Right.
In a
Yeah.
few years, the amount that you have to
The
deal with
level.
the other parent
Right.
after your kid is an adult drops
Minimizes,
a
yeah.
lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like my parents, after my parents got divorced, after my brother and I became adults and were moved out, I think the next time they saw each other was at my wedding.
Yeah, I was gonna
Okay.
say yeah.
Like, that's it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's very true.
And my brother,
12 whenever this happened?
no, I was younger. I was 10 or 11.
See, I think at that age, they're just taking you to a park and putting both parents in the grass, and then they just release you and see which way you go.
No, that's more
Jim
like
doesn't
5.
know.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
what they
younger.
yeah, that's what you picked.
Who has the better snap?
I mean,
You were jingling keys. You were
for
fucking cheating
Jacob,
the whole time.
if they did that for Jacob, he's just like, ooh, alligators.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
this guy
yeah.
chases
He was
them.
raised
Yeah,
by the
really.
swamp.
Yeah.
As is
He
the
ran
Louisiana
away
law.
from all of them.
He has chosen
Yeah,
the
yeah.
bayou.
No, back then, like we did the whole, like my brother and I got split up. The whole we did all,
wow.
like my brother and I would see each other on the weekends because
Jeez.
we'd go to one parent's
Damn.
house on the weekends.
That
every
was
other
always
weekend.
interesting to me. Like one kid
Yeah.
being able to choose one parent. That was more
Oh
common.
no, we didn't get to choose them, but like that's
how they did
just
it.
how it ended.
It's like a shell game. Good lord.
Yeah, and then like my brother and I would see each other on the weekends.
Wow.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
That does suck.
Yeah. I
Like
mean,
they don't do
Oh.
shit like that anymore.
Unless I do think there is a shift. There's a huge shift to where even some friends of mine, and it is what it is. That's their dad. Even if they're a shitty partner, like the dad still has a right
Yep.
to 50-50
Yeah.
before anything until they fuck it up. If they screw it up,
If
they
you
aren't.
harm the kid or something
if
like
you
that,
harm the
like you're
kid,
negligent,
putting
It's
him
got
in
a high
danger.
bar.
Yeah, there's,
Yeah.
it is. Yeah, or a low bar.
and that is up to the judge,
exactly.
not up to your ex.
Exactly. There's a huge shift there.
so we should talk about how does he deal with this emotionally?
Yeah.
Because I think that's the other piece that he's kind of talking about here too. Is like
It's hard.
one of the things that he said, and I kind of lost the spot where he said it, but basically like I'm still allowing her to manipulate or not manipulate,
Right.
but cause
Decide my
emotional
worth.
stress.
Yeah.
Yeah. Decide worth.
Mhm.
Yeah. And to that writer, this is going to sound harsh, but that's on you.
Stop it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, to some degree, like you are allowing this person rent-free space in your head,
Sure,
you know?
yeah.
And it kind of goes back to one of the things that I know we've talked about in this show before, but, you know, Viktor Frankl,
Mhm.
you know, one of the things that, you know, he was talking about in his book is like the one thing that somebody else can never touch
Right. Yeah.
is like our reaction or
Yeah,
our
attitude.
our
Yeah.
attitude,
Mhm.
right?
I thought you were going
You
to
know-
say my no place.
Yeah. Oh no, we've all touched
No, we've
that.
done- yeah.
There's a Patreon level, by the way.
I think I walked in on that earlier.
Touch Jacob's no place.
While we're on the topic, we'd all kind of like to stop.
Yeah.
Is really
That's
where
what the
we're at.
Patreon level is. You pay your way out of it.
Yeah.
You are obligated to touch Jacob's no-no
Until you get to that
you've met
level.
your funds.
The area touches you.
It's indentured servitude. That's right. It touches you. Unless you paid your way out, Jacob has prima nocta.
This is like a gang. You have to like earn your
Dick
way
in,
out
dick
of it.
out.
In Soviet Russia.
We've raised so much money for the show in the last 24 hours. It's so crazy.
No, so anyway, Ryder, I think, it's one of those things where, and that's like, I'm not blaming you for that.
No.
Like that,
No.
every single person in your situation is going to be going through that exact same thing.
Right.
And I think it's something that we all have to learn, and it's a skill that has to be developed.
Yeah, I agree.
You don't start with it.
Yeah.
You know, but I think you have to I think the first step is you have to come to the realization that like, oh, like people used to say this to me all the time in treatment. You know, they'd
Shut
be
up.
like, yeah, they'd be saying stuff like,
Get that out of me.
There we go.
there's
Take a shot.
They keep pushing my buttons. They're
Please, no,
antagonizing me. They're pushing my buttons. And then you're kind of like one of those things where you kind of have to just be like, you know, those are your buttons.
Right. Cover
you know?
them up.
Yeah, don't leave them out there to be pushed. You know, and you kind of have to
Damn.
start to take, you know, that accountability for it and understand that, like, yeah, she's doing these behaviors, but I can always choose my response.
Yeah.
Yes.
And once you start to take control of your response, then her ability to manipulate that just significantly drops.
And I think that's ultimately the advice that we're hearing around the table is, yeah, you probably want to take action here. And, you know, to step one step under, you know, the legal action, just to put it out there, a lot of families, when they're trying to co-parent and they're trying to avoid the courtroom, a middle ground is sometimes to hire a therapist that does specialize in children of divorced families and ask that therapist not necessarily to be the mediator and make all decisions, but to advise the couple as an advocate for the child. To say, hey, my role here is I've met your son. Yeah, he's only 3 years old. I've visited with him. I check in on him occasionally. We do a sit down all together once a month. And if you have any concerns, you bring those up to me. And I perform as the mental health expert of this triad. And I give you objective feedback. Yeah. And so if you know, writer says, hey, look, therapist, I'm concerned. I see my kid 1/7 of the time. I feel like, you know, my meetings with the kid are entirely up to the approval rating of this wife. That sucks. And ex-wife can say, hey, I have my concerns that he's talking shit about me. I think he does it in an indirect way. I don't think he's trying to be loud about it, but he doesn't realize that he kind of smirks and rolls his eyes and that kind of shit's impressing on the kid. Can you advise on that? And this gives the therapist a chance to say, okay, great. Let's talk about what's bad about that. Here's what I don't want to see you guys do. Here's what I do. And like the therapist would probably say things like, hey, I really don't like that a parent has 1/7 of the contact. That doesn't add up. Like, and the other person has, 6/7. That doesn't work. Like, and I'm not here to enforce a legal understanding. I'm here to advocate for the child who can't speak about what's best for their mental health. They're 3. Right. But I am an expert and I specialize in this demographic and I can be that objective third party. And I'm also listening to you. And also that's sometimes really helpful because that therapist then serves as sort of a co-parenting mediator between just the two of you when you have beef. And it's like, hey, do you guys want to resolve this? Do you want me to kind of do, couples therapy, but obviously not to help you be together, but to help you work together to collaborate on this kid.
Right.
And sometimes it's like, yeah, I fucking resent your mother. I hate that bitch. I know she hates me. And I guess I'm just grinding my teeth even knowing that she's around my kid because I fucking hate her. And it's like, okay, great. Let's get that shit out here in therapy because otherwise you're going to pour that shit all over your kid and like make it their fucking problem. So if that's an option too, writer, I like that. But at the end of the day, I don't like anybody ultimately deciding what your rights are except a judge. And I really want to just, my last point on this is this point about like men often feeling that we are inadequate as fathers, that like the true parent of the child is the mother. And like that is this default sensibility. And like I as the dad would be harming the child to reduce their contact with their mother. Of course they should be with their mother 2/3 of the time. And anything I get with this kid is just a gift. I'm there to take him to a baseball game. I'm there to like just be the weekend dad. That is an outdated thinking. It has always been a myth. We as fathers are crucial to the growth and development of our children. We have tons to offer. And the mom is going to have a different energy and a different thing to give that kid, which is also essential. But so are you. And so believe it or not, writer, I believe that it is in your child's best interest for you to push back on these boundaries and basically argue or get equality, not for you, though, yes, you'll benefit from this too, but because I trust that that is what is right for your child, for them to have equal access to both their parents. And if that's something you have to go about legally, I encourage you to look into that.
And if you want to play this episode for the judge, I would encourage you to do that as well.
We will also write a letter.
Cunt wallet.
For the money.
Play from the beginning.
Yeah.
Get the Patreon.
And the Patreon, yeah.
Get the whole thing. Put in $1. It's $1. Get the Patreon.
Yeah.
Skimp for the
judge.
judge.
The judge. You need the judge to really get to know us.
Yeah. Otherwise, they'll think this is all silly.
Yeah.
No, I agree with Jim. I think that that self-confidence to show like, I know you can get beat down by partners sometimes, especially I'm wondering if that's probably how the dynamic was when y'all were
Sounds
together.
like it might have been.
I'm going to assume that a little
vibe.
bit. So it's carrying over into this separation. And the reality is this is your chance in my opinion, to show your child I did everything I could.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to put that pressure on you. And if anyone out there didn't follow that path because that's what felt best for them, that's totally fine. But I do think there's space to like show your kid, look, I tried everything that I was able to, that I could within my financial, emotional, all these means that I could to try and have a fair play at getting time with you. And I think that goes a long way as your child gets older. Something I want to touch on, this was a little surprising to me as a clinician, as silly as this may sound. I had a friend some years ago who was going through divorce, and they had one child together, a preteen. And during this time, her ex-spouse relapsed into cocaine addiction.
Ooh.
Okay. On paper, though, what was like documented legally, what was like provable, we'll say, was that she had a history of a DUI a decade before.
Oh.
So on paper, it looked like she was the person with
Who has a substance use problem.
Right.
When she was actually the breadwinner.
She's responsible.
She's the responsible person here.
Oh, no. And the other parents
And the whole reason they divorced, she's like, I want you to go to rehab. He refused. They divorced.
But he
all
never
right.
documented it.
But nothing was ever documented. Like
And he didn't
nobody
go to
saw
rehab.
him use cocaine. You know what I mean? Like it was just.
She's
like,
alleging it.
he
He's
also,
like, that never happened.
yeah, he happened to lose 50 pounds and he's 5'8", but it's fine.
He's on
Anyway,
cocaine or Ozempic. One of the two.
this was pre-Ozempic, so he couldn't use that.
Ozempic. Excellent.
Oh, man, that weight just melts off.
I say
It's
all
amazing.
this to say that she is not someone who would attend therapy before, but this was a stressful time. They had just moved to another state, all these things. She started seeing a therapist, and the courts subpoenaed her therapist's notes.
Oh, jeez. Oh, Lord.
I didn't fucking know that was a thing. Let me just say, as a therapist, I'll be really transparent. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Luckily, she had an amazing therapist. And she was like, look, the court has subpoenaed this. This is what I'm going to say. Basically, this is what I'm going to share.
Yeah.
But I just want to warn you and let everyone know out there that when custody comes into play, when children's safety comes into play, I feel like that damaged her view on what therapy, it damaged her potential relationships with therapists in the future, because her one main experience with a therapist was that they had to go tell a court.
She got bid on it.
Yeah, and she didn't know that when she started. So she could have said some shit that, I don't know, maybe the therapist would have shared with a judge or whatnot. Anyway, I just want to share that as information. It's not to say don't trust therapists, but I'm saying when there is custody involved, things get really sticky, icky.
Yeah.
And
I've had those too. My advice too, if anybody is out there and you might be going through a divorce that involves custody and you're going to start doing therapy, I still want you to do the therapy.
Yes.
Let us know. Let us know that it is possible a divorce could happen and maybe some custody shit. I need to know that. Anytime there's a potential legal issue down the road, having that information,
so helpful.
It will just cause me to be very careful about what I'm putting in my notes.
Yeah.
Not to obscure
You're going to look
anything,
out for the
but
patient.
You
want to know because you want to
obligated
the kid
to.
is who you're actually going to look
yeah.
out for. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I'm saying you want that heads up because you want to look out for the patient.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. We just want to be very mindful about what we're writing, because if I know that nobody else is ever going to see my notes, I'm writing them for me.
Yes.
Right. But if I know a judge is going to read my notes and I know a judge is not trained in psychotherapy, and I choose the words that are going to help them understand this. Translating ahead of time, right? And so it's a useful thing to tell us, but
patient probably has a very loose asshole.
Yes.
I was just shocked when
Mr.
she told him,
Jobin, what did
really,
you mean
Alex?
when you wrote this note?
Oh, it's a Freudian thing.
It's bleached. It's very bleached.
How often were you staring at their asshole?
As long as it took.
As
long as it
quick
took.
check-in.
An hour a week every week?
Not obsessively,
For the amount of time that I billed for.
It's a specific kind of therapy, okay?
It's in my notes. You can read my notes there. Anyway, Ryder, good luck with this. It's a very, very personal story, and I think we're all rooting for you. You sound like you really passionately love your child.
Yes.
I hope that you will advocate for your rights. I hope that you and your ex are able to reach a really healthy co-parenting agreement. I think that'd be wonderful for your kid. But I really want to echo what Whitney said. I think for a lot of men, there is this martyrdom, concept that we fall into that's like, I'm just going to go to work all the time and pay the bills, and my kids one day will look back and they'll think, what a guy. He was a good guy.
Me.
He was never around, but you know what? He was a good guy. I know he was out there doing what he had to do for the family. And in my experience as a therapist, when your kid grows up and comes to therapy, all they remember is you weren't there.
Yes.
I don't think,
Yes.
thanks, Dad, for knocking out those bills. Thanks for keeping the lights on.
Yes.
All they remember is Mom was there and you weren't.
And sometimes that's not an option.
It might
I just
not
want to
be
say,
an
Yeah.
option.
for some parents, for some people,
Right.
being
You're doing
there
it
is
'cause you
simply
have
not
to.
an
It is
option.
what it is.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
but
Whatever life throws at you.
I do want to push against the masculine martyrdom myth, because I think a lot of men comfort themselves and say, that's what's best for my child. And as a therapist who will eventually treat your adult child, they're going to say they missed you. And so if you're at that juncture right now, do not fall into that myth. If it can be avoided, and it sounds like in your story, you could rise up and push back, I encourage you to fight for your kid.
Yeah.
I think it's what's best for them.
I really like the idea of getting a therapist advocate for the child.
A little bit of a middle ground.
Yeah.
A lot of courts will do that.
Yeah,
They'll
I
have
like
an
that a lot.
advocate.
They'll assign one
Yeah.
if they need to.
Yeah.
I like that idea a lot.
Sometimes
they
you can
need
keep
to.
it out of the court if you say, hey, let's mutually pick
Let's
somebody.
pick somebody, yeah.
Interview them.
Yep.
Give them the skinny and let them advise us. So anyway, we are going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're wrapping up the show. You're listening to Pod Therapy.
Today's episode is brought to you by Judy Schneider, Leon Kassab, Carolyn Albert, Sammy Scoop, Sarah Smith, Mike Helm, Darren Cunningham, Cody the DeLorean Guy, Brady Malachik, and Max the Ginger Scoop. And if you would like to sponsor the show, become a therapy producer at patreon.com/therapy.
We want to remind you that you can go to patreon.com/therapy and get our extended show ad-free a day earlier and enjoy our live chat Discord community and our weekly deep dives, interviews, skill shares, research roundups, and rants. I am
Enjoyment not
deep,
guaranteed.
Not almost never, in fact. I'm doing a series right now on the realities of artificial intelligence, how that affects therapy, how it can be used as a tool, but also getting a little sci-fi with it and imagining if AI becomes, as some people project, maybe something close to sentient, what does that look like? And how does that factor into questions like, can that mental illness be in any conscious being? And how do we deal with that? So some really exciting things to play with there.
Did you talk about therapizing machines?
Of course I did. I called it cyber therapy. Very pumped.
Yeah.
So I have a whole bunch of very punny episodes. I'm enjoying it. A lot of people have been having a great conversation about it in the Discord. Come on down, patreon.com/therapy, and learn a little bit and think about it with me. It's a lot of fun to think about. But we've got some new people that have joined the Thera party. Who is new to the family there, Nick?
We got 2 new Therapods. We got Kiera. Welcome to the show.
Kiera Knightley,
Woohoo!
finally supporting the show.
Big fan.
Yes.
Finally answered my fan letters.
Yes, we just need Natalie Portman, and then we're good.
It's the same person.
Oh, true. And Drew Helligy.
Welcome back, Drew. Good to have
Welcome
you.
back.
And we've also got some new producers.
We got 2 new Thera producers.
nice.
Hell yeah, we do.
Welcome to the boardroom, Max the Ginger Scoop.
About time, Max.
Yep. And welcome to the boardroom, Chad Meg.
Love having you. And there actually is a boardroom in the Discord, and you are invited to it automatically. All you other people, you're not welcome. That's just the deal. We have to have
Step it
elitism.
up.
Wow.
Elitism keeps societies together.
Wow.
We'd also like to thank the benevolent, revered, generous, and flagrantly pro-therapy diehards who love you all so much. They give till it hurts. The Thera partners, Dirty B and Pickett.
Pickett.
And we want to thank our bosses, the mysterious and shrouded Illuminati members of the fan club, our Thera producers. Thank you, Jake Schneider, Myra, Robert Brownie Jr. Mint, Smitty Scoop, Richard fucking Macy, Judy Schneider, Malia, Leon Kassab, Carolyn Albert, Kevin Chamberlain, Tess Miller, Dan Martin, Sammy Scoop, Slurpy Kai motherfucker, Ben Stanley slapping your face, Sarah Smith, Adam Hathaway, Byler T, Mike Helm, Oscar Swanrose, Paris, a sunny boy, Darren Cunningham, Lib, Sandra McWaffle, Team Monaco, Thunder, Cougar, Falcon Scoop, Heyo, Hannah Marie, Andrew Langmead, Emma and Tonka, and Pony Soprano, Alina, Cody the Lorian Guy, Brady Malachik, Chick Fellatio. We should not put those 2 names together. That's not going to work for me.
Malay chick
Gabriel Brady Malachik Fellatio. I'm just going to say doing that.
Yes.
Gabriel Adame, Sean Sutherland, Max the Ginger Scoop, Chad Mag, and Adam Warren.
Did we announce Adam Warren?
We did not. Also,
Welcome to the show, Adam Warren.
And their producer, Adam Warren. Boy, are you appreciated
Sorry.
and respected.
I suck. If you would like to hear this episode uncut and unedited,
And why wouldn't you?
and enjoy our spontaneous side projects, go to patreon.com/therapy, and thank you for supporting mental health.
That's all the time we got for this week's session. Want to thank our landlords for the time being. the Ice Cream Social podcast, and thanks to those of you who contributed to our show today. We really appreciate it. Remember, Pod Therapy isn't something to keep all to yourself. Share the episode with the world. Tag us on the socials when you do. It's at PodTherapyGuys on Instagram, Threads, and Twitter. It's Pod Therapy on Facebook and Blue Sky. And don't forget, for all the extra goodies, patreon.com/therapy.
If you want to submit a question to the show, you can ask anonymously at podtherapy.net, email us at podtherapyguys@gmail.com, or click the link in the episode description to be taken to our anonymous Google form. I'm Nick Tangeman.
I'm Whitney.
I'm an oily car.
It's time to go to Top Golf.
Let's go, bitch!
Thanks, and we'll see you for your appointment next week.
I'm telling you, dude,
When do they close?
it's not a slam dunk.
This is as close to a slam dunk as I will ever get.
God,
I feel like I could be
Your
at
hubris,
Top Golf.
Icarus, you fly too close to the sun.
I want the two of you to play the basic game. Just the most, whoever gets it into the target the most times wins. We don't have to do anything weird.
The most points by the targets.
That's it. Jim, you doing any camping lately?
Top Golf is open till 1 a.m.
Jim, you doing any camping?
I'm gonna fuck you up. That's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna fuck
Do you have
you
any
up.
5 a.m. sessions?
Real fucking good,
Yeah,
Tangeman.
I do, actually.
I don't want to hear your excuses.
I'll go. I don't care.
Shit.
I'll stay up all
I
night.
did not think that would
I'll
work.
stay up all night. Nick, fuck you.
I'll cancel everything.
Jim, you got any camping plans?
Yeah, nothing too close to now. Eventually, I'm going to go back to the Grand Canyon.
I don't like where these questions are going.
Yeah.
Like just on your own?
Just a group of children.
Oh, that group of children.
Yeah, just a group of kids of no particular association.
Okay.
You go fuck yourself. I'm onto your game.
I'm counting it. Bingo.
Bye.
Bye.
Bingo, bitches.
Having a life scholarship and being able to afford to go to college made me feel inspired to go.
When I got a life scholarship, it was such a relief.
I knew that I wanted to have an impact. Having a life scholarship through the SC Education Lottery was huge. It gave me the opportunity to make that impact right here at home.
The South Carolina Education Lottery. A better you, a better us, a better South Carolina. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.